Oh, hi everyone! How's it going? Welcome on in for the very first stream of our ExtraLife charity fundraising event. We are playing Forest Hymn and Picnic. I'm Jess, this is my channel. Thank you so much for being here. Today I am playing as Granny Nana. So that's all you get for now. That's all I'm gonna say. And let's go around and say hi to everyone. So next is Whitney. Hi, Whitney.
Hi, I'm Whitney. I am a goat child named Patches. Do you need anything else from me?
No, sorry, you cut out a little bit. Could you repeat?
Yeah, sorry. My connection's being kind of janky. My name's Whitney. I am of the internet, and I'm playing a goat child named Patches.
Perfect.
Adorable.
Next is Richard. Hi, Richard.
Hi, I am Richard, and I'm playing Prince Ponyo, a hare.
I love that name. It's very cute. And you shared art, which I'm excited for. Next is Leslie. Hi, Leslie. How's it going?
Hi everybody, I am Cake or Leslie, call me what you like, it's all good. I am playing a little ghostie named Thorn Lake Shadow.
And Ethan?
Hello, I'm Ethan. I'm playing a person.
The only one,
The only one.
The rare, the unique, one of a kind people.
Person exclamation point, Ophelia Picnics. So
Adorable.
Yeah.
Jordan, take us away.
And I'm Jordan, and I'm going to affect a slight whimsical accent as I take my part on as the narrator of this game. So bear with us. We are all new to playing the Forest Hymn and Picnic, but I think if you give us a shot, we'll entertain you for a little while. What is the Forest Hymn? What is the Picnic? Well, that's my job to tell you, and also to maybe take you on a little waltz through those places. Now, the Forest Hymn is one of them deep, dark type forests. Lots of strange things going on. Strange animals and creatures, and even a couple people maybe wandering around. They're a little rarer people, but yeah, you're more likely to run into a raccoon with a shotgun than you are to run into a person. But we have one with us, and we'll do our best to make them feel welcome. Periodically, you'll find places to rest in the Forest Hymn, but it is generally considered a dangerous place, and only foolhardy folks decide to go adventuring through it. Those folks don't want to alarm their family and friends, so they refer to what they get up to as picnics. Don't worry, Ma. I'm just going on a wee picnic out in the woods. If I come back and I'm missing a toe, well, it was one of those kinds of picnics. Our particular picnic starts as all good picnics do, with a couple of unlucky folks just really trying to chase down what belongs to them. We'll set the scene as a path along one of the rare paths through the Forest Hymn, as a young goat named Patches and a royal seaman hare named Prince Ponyo have lost their hats. They've blown away in the wind. And unfortunately, as they approach them, they do that thing where they kick it, and then it gets further away.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, it's one of them kind of situations. And of course, their friends, Thorn Lake Shadow, Ophelia Picnics, and Granny Nana, they have to help them, as the same time every day, their hats get blown away, and they get rambled on to some new part of the woods. So this is where I'd like you to all describe yourselves. We'll start with the two unlucky ones. Patches, how about you give us a little description of what you look like?
Sure. I'm a little young girl, but mostly I just look like a goat. I got real tawny brown fur and lots of dark patches all over my body. There's one like right between my eyes. And I do have the weird sideways goat eyes too. And I'm always wearing kind of threadbare clothing, maybe like one shoe that's up around a hoof and the other one's bare. I trip a lot and I dance a lot. So as I'm chasing after the hat that's been blown off my head this time, I just kind of fall face down in the dirt, but only for a second, and then I get right back up. It's all good.
And what sort of hat might you be chasing this afternoon?
I think something like a newsboy cap.
Okay.
With patches all over it. It's been sewn a couple times. And there's still one hole that's uncovered from one of my little horns.
Alrighty. Now our other hat loser. That's not a great way to put it, but I'm still getting here. Prince Ponyo, what kind of hat have you lost, and what do you look like trying to chase it down?
I am a rabbit who has lived many years, and I'm a black and white rabbit with a tuft of hair on his head, and I lost my white powdered wig. It is not seeming for a prince to have such a pompadour of hair, and so I usually try to hide it under my wig. Yes, that's what it is. And of course, when I ran off after my wig, I stepped out of my shoes and I just don't know where they are. So that's how it is. I dress beautifully as befits a prince. I have fine red cloak and I have fine red wool socks. Otherwise, I'm Donald Ducking it. So I have a bag on the end of my cane, which I carry on my shoulder.
Hobo style.
A traveling prince, yes.
That's right,
yes.
of course.
You may address me as Your Majesty, if you wish.
The forest hymn is your home, is your kingdom. All right. Now we'll go over to Miss Ophelia Picnics.
We see an arrow plunk by one of the hats, trying to pin it down, but misses, and Ophelia's like, dang it.
Maybe Ponyo's ears has to kind of flatten out this way to make room for the arrow to go through.
But Ophelia Picnics is wearing sort of like a very heavy woolen skirt and a old wolf skin over their head. And she's a little rougher on the edges, probably covered in lots of dirt. She was raised by literal wolves.
And acts like it.
Yes.
Alrighty.
I'm sure currently it's like, this is a tricky hair.
Oh, I see now. I see what you're getting at there.
I have no sense of humor, so I don't get it.
Granny Nana, why are you here, and why are you associated with these troublesome folks?
Oh, hello, dears. I have to help. They just keep losing their things. And who would know better about things floating away than a ghost?
That's a ghost's number one problem on the day-to-day is making sure that they don't themselves float away. What does Granny Nana look like?
Well, your Granny Nana looks, well, you can't see because you see ghosts must stay contained at all times so as not to lose themselves. But your Granny Nana is wearing her finest nightgown, of course, and very reasonably so, her face is a veil filled with lightning bugs, as you do when you are a ghost. Yes, and she's just floating along, trying to help in any way she can.
And then last but not least, another drifter of sorts, Thorn Lake Shadow.
Yes, Thorn Lake is worried that they're going to walk into her garden patch and probably trample on all the little flowers that she's been curating. So she is trying to find the hat as soon as possible so that she can get back to her gardening. She is wearing a simple blue and white dress. It kind of sloshes a bit when she moves. No one really knows why. She's got a little small tea kettle hanging off a little belt. And her head is a large candle with wax dripping that form her face and her mouth. It's always lit at nighttime, and when it's darker in the darker patches of the woods, that's when the hood comes off.
And with that, our 5 adventurers ramble down this little forest road. And Ponyo, Prince Ponyo, pardon me, you've got a full title. Prince Ponyo, you are just within grabbing range of your tumbling wig, and you reach to grab it, and a very heavy rubber boot stomps down on top of it, standing in front of you, and you slam into something that has quite a bulk to it. And then the rest of you all sort of thunk, 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 slam in behind, and then, of course, accordion out, as cartoons would do. And you look up to see, towering over most of you, a rather large, bulky gentleman with the head of a pumpkin. His face carved in a frowning grimace, his eyebrows permanently set to angry. He stares down at you and says, "No running."
I say, good man. Well done, well done. You've got my
No
wig.
man. Don't call me a man or a people of any kind.
I just fall over.
Just go eat and then fall over.
Oh, golly.
Oh, now I didn't mean to frighten any of you, but we just got rules here in Calabash Hollow, and one of them is not to run. And he goes to help Patches up, kind of dusts you off a little bit.
It like puffs out in a cloud and doesn't seem to do much. but I look up at him and I'm like, was there, I didn't see a sign. I didn't see a sign that we were in no place we weren't supposed to be.
Well, now, young goat, the rules of Calabash Hollow are fluid. They often change, so they must be distributed by word of mouth.
Oh.
Or word of mouth hole, in the cases of most of the people, Calabash Hollow. He realizes he's still standing on the young hare's wig, and he picks it up, and it's still kind of covered in a little bit of dirt and dust, and he puts it back onto you, probably a little crooked, and he sort of does the it's fine, little thumb lick to try and clean it off. And as he does that, you realize his hands are made out of, and in fact all of his limbs seem to be made out of bundled twigs, and they've got joints made just by thread and twine, just holding the joints together. So they seem to articulate like hands, but they're definitely assembled out of wood.
Do his hands go in front of my mouth at any time?
Well, they kind of go above your head.
Okay.
As he's trying to fix your wig.
I'm interested in the twigs, that's all.
Gonna do a nibble?
I'm sniffing at the twigs.
Oh, I see. Yeah, maybe he does the lean down and he puts his finger under your chin kind of thing. He's like, "You all right there, son?"
Well, you show me the proper obeisance. Let me see those fingers. They look delicious.
And he kind of recoils and pulls it back. He's like, "No, He kind of does a weird bow and says, "I have to insist that you do not eat my fingers. I use them on a pretty regular basis."
It's pretty rude.
But you're a pumpkin, and my mom says we're vegetarians.
Well, I may be assembled from the pieces of pumpkin, but I am not a pumpkin myself.
Okay.
You know what? This is already fogging my brain. I'm going to bring you down to the mayor, and I think that he might be able to help you out a little better. I feel it might be fortuitous that you ran into me on the road into a Calabash Hollow. Things are a little tense around here, so some outside help might be welcome.
Well, thank you for coming and helping us, and it's very kind of you to teach us the rules. May we know your name?
Oh, I'm Pete. Just Pete. Never had much need for a title or last name.
It's nice to meet you, Just Pete.
Just Pete. I like that. And he turns around sort of on a heel, and you realize that he's bulky but very light, and with every step he kind of seems to lift up like a balloon a little bit and move, but his boots land very heavily with every step, and every time a boot print hits the ground, a bunch of leaves kind of just fall out of his shirt. He's wearing kind of baggy overalls, and like a plaid kind of farmer shirt.
I'm going to float along behind him and pick up the leaves, scoop them all up for him.
I want to get a leaf too, just one leaf.
Sure.
The juiciest one?
I will eat one.
Okay.
I'm kind of trying to imitate how he's moving, but I'm not a scarecrow man, so it doesn't look right.
Prince Ponyo, you take a bite out of one of these leaves, and you find that they are smoky flavored. Yeah, quite good.
Excellent.
And in fact, there is kind of a warm, smoky smell everywhere as you start approaching the little town of Calabash Hollow. Now, Calabash Hollow is immediately interesting looking as you approach over the little hill that leads down. There are huge fabric tent-like houses that have been shaped into large, round, pumpkin-type gourds, each one with a little door flap leading in. Little metal chimneys poke out the tops. There's maybe a dozen of them or so. And you can see, just as you crest the hill, that there's got to be 20 or 30 of these pumpkin folk all wandering around and doing different things. They all seem very involved in building a stage down in the middle of this Calabash Hollow. Now, Just Pete, he guides you with purpose, and though he doesn't move very fast, he does get you where you need to go, and you come across the largest of these pumpkin tents. And he puts up a hand, gentle hand, as though to slow you down, and then he steps into the tent for a while. Anything anyone wants to do or have questions for me? The pumpkin folk kind of tilt. If they've got a hat, they tip them to you. All of them have static faces and different expressions. The ones that have smiles seem to walk with a pep in their step, and the ones with frowns seem to hang dog around. But they all seem to act in accordance to their carvings.
I would like to know if there is a place for me to stable my broom pole horse. His name is Good Horse Charlie, and I don't know if I should continue to take him through the town. I wouldn't want to upset anyone.
You don't want to run rampant in this new town. Yeah, of course.
So.
There are several pillars and stumps that you can affix your broom horse to.
I would like to tie him up. You stay here now. Be a good horse, Charlie.
Charlie is, as always, patient and silent.
I place a leaf in front of him.
That's very kind of you.
He shifts in the knot that's tied, and he just sort of falls forward, and his nose bumps into the leaf. And you are pleased to see that he seems to enjoy his meal.
I try to go help right the horse. I don't understand. I'm trying to bring him back up again.
He sits up, and somehow the leaf is stuck to his little snoot, and he continues to eat it.
I'll help him with the leaf.
All right. Are you gonna have a meet in the middle kind of smooch?
Yes.
You're gonna Lady in the Trampet?
Yeah. You're already Donald Ducking it, so you may as well also Lady in the Trampet.
Prince and the Tramp.
Yep. Anyone else like to do anything?
I would just say, as soon as Pete ducks into the the tent and we're kind of standing there without him or anybody else around, I'll just like into the silence say, I have to pee. That's all.
Okay. Do you act on this impulse, or are you?
No, I just announce it.
Okay. Does anyone have anything to say on this fact?
More to say not about the fact. I think Ophelia would be like, I'm gonna go check out the stage.
All right. Ophelia, you find yourself over to a place that has most of the hustle and or bustle of this town, and it is the assembly of a very sturdy looking stage. The base of it's already been built, and some people are assembling some tables to put up there. There's no evidence of a band or any kind of musicians, but there is one person who seems to be directing traffic, as it were, and he's wearing or she's wearing the loose garb of a police officer, but it's really hanging off of them quite a bit, and they're waving a very wobbly nightstick type thing in the air that seems like it would do very little in the ways of injuring somebody. A whistle, she turns, and her mouth, where her mouth should be, is a whistle, just sort of jammed into the pumpkin, and somehow she's just blowing air into the whistle and making noise that way, and just kind of directing people around.
Excuse me.
She turns. I can't whistle. This was a bad plan. She turns on her heel and looks down at you and just like toots a sharp whistle at you. Sort of a what?
I have a question. I was informed that we can't run in town.
She whistles and nods.
Good. Just making sure.
And then she kind of just like tries to usher you along, or does the shoe fly, and whistles a little, like just quietly to you. You can see though, as you're ducking away, the last thing you see is a large green dress, probably as tall as all five of you stand on each other's shoulders, being dragged up onto this stage and displayed. It's big. More whistles and more shooing.
Yep, I'm going.
Get you back. You get back just in time for just Pete to find his way back out of the mayor's abode, and he says, "Mayor, I'll see you now." Pulls the thing open. Everyone in this town towers over you, so this tent seems huge by your standards. But looking at just Pete, you wonder how he fit in there. And you step through, and a very slender pumpkin man in a old but obviously well-loved suit is sitting at a desk with a quill, just muttering to himself about who knows what. And he says,
as I step through, I'm going to pass all the leaves back to Pete.
Oh, well, that's...
These.
Thornlake, that is very kind of you. I am always losing these things. And he just starts, like, by the handful, shoving them back inside of his shirt.
Tuck your shirt in.
You know, they just find their way out the neck or out the sleeves. It's just, clothing's got too many holes in it, you know?
We could sew you in. No, it's okay. It's a problem for another day.
Wow, that is a luxury I've never been offered. If you could sew me into this, actually, that would be quite kind.
We'll come back. We'll work out what this is going on, and I'll come back and find you.
Yeah, all right. Thank you. And he kind of, his grouchy face belies kind of the happy tone in his voice as he goes off, still stuffing leaves into his tum.
I turn to Thornlake and say, "Imagine not knowing you can be sewn into all your clothes."
I was going to say people, but it wasn't a people.
True.
I'm a people. Just kind of like butts right into the conversation.
And they all look at you like, we know and we're sorry.
Yes, You're a good people. And Granny Nana is gonna lift like her nightgown, and like the sleeve, which is roofy and fluffy, is gonna like come over, and like a hard candy is gonna drop out of her nightgown sleeve.
Ophelia's gonna loudly crunch at it.
Oh. Yeah.
As you're kind of standing in the doorway and having this hushed conversation, the crunch, Ophelia's crunch into the candy, alerts the person sitting behind the desk, and he looks up and he says, "You're not pumpkins."
Excuse me, but I have to pee.
Well, I have to say you're in the wrong place. We don't really do that here. A tree? Maybe I could direct you to the nearest tree.
Sure.
Just, do like goats do. And he just reaches down and he lifts the curtain. His arms are so long that from the desk, he can just reach down and lift the thing up and give you, basically there's a tree right on the other side.
I run out towards a trip once and I get up and I run out and I'll come back when I'm done.
All right. It's not often we see non-pumpkin folk here in Calabash Hollow. Oh, I'm being rude. Have a seat. And he starts going to grab pumpkins for you to sit on. Each one of them has a face carved into it, and each one of them is talking.
Is this not rude? This is all right for us?
The pumpkin that you dripped over to Granny Nana says,
I can't even actually sit down.
No, we just hover over it.
He still puts out, he's a polite man, and he puts out five pumpkins. And the one that you hover towards to says, "I know this is strange, Missy, but it's fine. You have my consent."
On your face.
It's more sitting on the top of my head. I would prefer you not smother my facial area. My face region. You got many names.
Can you feel this? And Ophelia's just gonna like rub her, just like put the finger in the mouth, just like.
So Ophelia, you're doing that to your pumpkin?
Yeah, just like, can you feel this?
It's got it's got a little kid voice, and it's like, "No, sir, I don't feel it. I don't feel one bit. I don't feel it at all. It's like as though you're just poking air."
Oh, strange.
Anyway, sit on me.
At this point, I'll be trying to crawl back under the tent flap to get back in.
If you insist.
Patches, as you approach the last pumpkin, it says, "Ah, great."
It's okay, I already peed. I just peed.
Oh, I wasn't even worried you were gonna pee on me. Now I am. Sit down.
Just plop down.
I can't wait till I'm back on wood chopping duty.
I climb onto my pumpkin slowly and with difficulty, but I get on there, and then I bring myself up to my full regal height of like 2'6".
Your pumpkin says, "Sir, you seem to have the countenance of a royalty."
Oh, well said, well said. I am Prince Ponyo.
I'm Sir Haggard.
Well met, Sir Haggard.
Knight of the Round. That's what we call ourselves around here sometimes, the Round, because of the shape of our
heads.
Because pumpkins are round.
Very good. Someone's been learning their shapes. Which isn't a condescending thing because you're 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm a child.
Yeah.
And also a kid.
So the whole time the mayor has been watching this happen, and he has a huge grin on his face. He has to. He has to have a huge grin, but it suits him in a way. He has big round face on the top of this stick pole body, and he says, "This is fascinating. Pumpkin people are really unique, but there's just nothing like strangers from the forest hymn. I'm glad you're here."
It's very nice to meet you. I do have a question. I don't know if this is rude, But you said, and I look to the one that was just complaining about being sat on, you were looking forward to chopping duty? Do you trade bodily forms?
The pumpkin, the grouchy pumpkin, starts to, as it looks like they're about to speak, and the mayor says, "You know, it's a complicated system we have around here, and I don't expect you to learn it in a day. And you know, it could appear quite disturbing to folks such as yourself, but I assure you, it's perfectly safe and perfectly normal in Calabash Hollow."
How does one get ahead in your society?
Can you quit when you're ahead?
I don't understand why you're giggling at these comments, but why one gets ahead in Calabash Hollow by finding a head for themselves. So this is, you're getting a good interaction with this particular pumpkin, and his mouth is so broad and so big that you can actually see a little flame just floating and flickering inside of his head. So his jack-o'-lantern face is lit up, even though it is sort of mid-afternoon.
Are the jack-o'-lanterns we're sitting on also lit up?
Yeah, but it's a pleasant kind of warmth.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was scared I peed again for a second.
Oh, please don't. So he says, "Oh, all this talk of being polite and I haven't introduced myself. That's rude. You have been nothing but not rude, and I have been only but yes rude. So my name," and he stands up to his full height and he has to like tilt his head to the side to fit in his own tent. He says, "My name is Mayor Ephraim Humbug. You could just call me Hummy for short." He reaches with a long arm over the desk, and this big twiggy hand reaches down to shake each of your hands and or paws and or candy sleeve. It's a pleasure. Can I ask how you stumbled across Calabash Hollow?
My hat ran away.
You know, that's not the first time I heard that even today. So that's our number one tourist setup around here, is just people stumbling in their hats.
And he lost his hair.
Oh dear. Wait.
Yes, there appears to be a hole in my wig. I'm not sure why, but anyway.
We didn't lose our hair. He lost his hair.
The hair lost his hair.
Yeah.
Huh.
It's vexing.
He leans in really close, like weirdly bent over, as though there's no real spine stopping him from really bending his torso. He just curves over and he steeples his fingers and he's leaning basically right off the front of the desk at you, and he says, "Would you happen to be on a picnic?"
Picnic?
Wink, wink. And he does that because he can't actually wink.
Picnic's my last name.
Well, that seems fortuitous. But you do catch my meaning, yes? Are you on
yes, we do.
a dangerous adventure? You
Every
can just
day.
nod if you don't want to say it out loud. Okay.
Every day is a dangerous adventure for those such as me. Sweet. Yes.
Good. Because that's what I'm looking for today. There are two things you need to know about Calabash Hollow. One, we're very friendly to strangers. And two, we're very scared of everyone else, of everything outside of Calabash Hollow.
Is it because you are so delicious?
I never factored that into my math, but now it's in there now too, yeah. Maybe we're delicious. Oh no. Oh no. He's like nervous, twiddling his fingers.
Well, before we make you any more nervous, and I'm sorry, can we help you?
His face, his big smile kind of prevents him from being too worried too long, and he just pops back up into a big smile, clasps his hands together, and he says, "You see that we're getting ready for, an event out there, right?"
Oh, yeah, there's a big dress.
Yes, you noticed the big dress. This factors into your quest today. We are coming up on the festival of the Pumpqueen. Are you familiar? You've never heard of our great lady, the Pumpqueen? The gourd mistress? The great stemmed one? No?
I feel as though I should, but I do not.
You should, but now you do, so you don't have to worry about it anymore. Anyway, she's sort of like our leader, but the problem with these mortal forms is that they kind of just die away over the course of the year, and we have to replace them. It's for simple pumpkin like us. It's very straightforward. We just go find another head, cut the face, carve the face into it that we wish to have, and then they're simple vegetables. Is it a fruit? First time I've thought of this.
I think it's a
Does it
gourd.
not hurt?
I believe it is a gourd.
And he grabs a knife and he just kind of sticks it into the head.
Oh.
It's perfectly fine.
Ah!
And then he pops the head off and he puts it down. He says, "See?"
No!
I am instantly behind Ophelia.
I'm just goat screaming.
He turns the head around as though to look at himself in disbelief, and then he puts it back on and he says, "I'm fine. This is part of the deal around here.
Interesting.
Do we need to do some kind of aversion therapy? I'll just keep popping it on and off until you're used." Okay,
You're good.
you have the option. But
Just
it
one
won't
more
be
time, and I float over to him, just really quickly. I'm gonna put
Are you
my
watching?
hand between the head and the body.
Yeah,
to
he
make
lifts
sure it's not
he lifts it up. He's like, "Ooh, ooh, ooh." No, I'm just kidding. I don't feel a thing. It's literally fine.
So,
Anyway, is everyone done screaming?
One more
Okay.
time.
I just let out one more like, ah!
I'll get back to your picnic at hand. The Pumpqueen, she is special, and to resummon her each year, we got to do some special stuff to make sure that she comes back just really nice. That's what we're looking for our Pumpqueen. Now the dress is prepared. We spent all summer making sure that we have something beautiful for her to wear, but the rest of the work, it has to be done outside of Calabash Hollow. So we depend on people stumbling in here looking for their hats to kind of help us out. That's why it's so convenient that you're here. So, do you want to take the job?
I say nothing.
is it a job? Are we getting paid?
Well, you'll have our eternal gratitude. You'll have a home in Calabash Hollow for as long as you'd like to stay. All the pumpkin innards you could eat, because we don't really use that part.
Is that not offensive to you?
I think you are all misunderstood about exactly what's happening here. We aren't the pumpkins.
Oh, they're like your turning to Granny Nana. They're like your dress, I guess. The pumpkin.
Oh.
Where it contains them?
Yeah, watch. And he sits back, and the little flame floats out of the head.
14 months.
And then he just like slumps limp. He slumps limp in the chair, like lifeless in the chair, and the little.
Oh gosh, no!
The flame is floating around.
I leave the tent.
Okay. Oh.
I turn to Thornlake and I'm like, oh no, he's escaping. We have to save him.
I run towards it with my unlit wick on my head. Quick, jump in!
The little flaming wisp like dodges all of you, and it goes back into the mayor's head, and he pops up forward. He's like, you really have to just, if you're up here, and you need to be just like down here about all of this.
By the time he pops back into his body, I want to say that I'm nibbling on the stem of his head.
So yeah, you've got like a bit of the vine, and you like pull it back, and the head kind of like tilts too far back, and then swings back forward. It's fine. I just learned we're delicious today.
My ears come around the door frame like periscopes.
Yep.
I'm going to attend a meeting from out. I can hear very well.
Okay. I like the visual of that. The little ears peeking around.
So what do you need us to do exactly?
Well, I need you to assemble the pieces of our queen.
You have a list?
I do. And he goes into the drawer and he slaps this piece of parchment down on the table, and it's got like crayon-like drawings on it. It's all you need to know. It's right there.
Oh no. Granny, Thorn, can you read?
If you hold up the paper.
So it's more of a series of pictographs of simple drawings of various different things written in half the letters or backwards, and there is a drawing of a very large pumpkin, and it says written beneath it is her royal head. And then
I hop a little closer.
Then there is a drawing of a heart, simple cartoon heart, and it says her heartbeat. And then the last symbol is a kind of wooden sword, like lashed in the middle, and it says her mighty weapon. That's what we need. It's right there in red crayon on parchment. It's as clear as day.
Yes, a quest in 3 parts. I've seen these before. I hop closer again.
How literal are these requests?
Can you use the word literal in another sentence?
Do we literally have to find her royal head?
Oh, yes. Well, I mean, you're gonna have to go to the patch.
I presumably get the nicest looking one.
Oh, the
Surely.
nicest, most magnificent that you can find. You saw the
Surely.
dress.
Pumpkin people would know more about pumpkin heads.
You would think, eh?
Yeah.
We've created our own pumpkin heads here in Calabash Hollow, but none of them are worthy of the Pumpqueen. The Great Patch, it'll have what you're looking for.
Sounds like picnic time.
We'll need a wagon.
Well, since we never really leave town, we don't have much on wheels, Plus, we could roll most of ourselves around.
Because pumpkins are round.
That's right. It's a really simple formula here in Calabash Hollow.
I go over and give Patches a hard candy.
Yay! I just pop it in my mouth and I start sucking on it.
You're making it seem as though you may need a guide. Am I reading the room correctly?
Nope. And Ophelia's already out the door, going in a direction.
Okay.
A direction. Out of the direction.
Apparently we're leaving now. Bye. And I float away.
Okay. Well, if you can find my brother, he's the only one willing to leave.
What's
What's
their name?
His name is Brassy Walter. You'll get it. You'll understand when you meet him. Oh, don't forget the map. And he reaches his supernaturally long arm, basically goes right out the door.
Oh, that's creepy.
And drops it, and then it just drifts back. And there's the sound of kind of if you've got a bundle of twigs and you twist them, does that kind of sound as his arm seems to grow just long enough. Good luck.
I pick up the map. I pick up the instructions, sorry.
I suppose calling it a map is generous, but it's 3 drawings of things.
Yeah. So we need to know.
Where are we gonna find a heart?
Ophelia's got her compass out and ready, and a spoon that's been bent sideways, and she's trying to divine where the adventure is.
Ophelia, can you use that to find Brassy Walter?
Oh no, are they in town?
Yes, I think so.
Brassy
maybe- Although he said that Brassy Walter was the only one who wants to leave town, so maybe he's not in town.
So you just yell Brassy Walter at the top of your lungs?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm gonna float up a little bit, sort of above, maybe above the tent height,
Sure.
just to see if anyone like turns around at the sound of the shouting.
So there is one person who is helping out near the stage, one pumpkin person who turns around to look, and they appear to be drinking out of some kind of cup, something like this. But he puts up a twiggy hand and waves in your direction and starts walking over towards you, and you realize he's slender, much like the mayor, but his mouth, where his mouth is just the front flare of a bugle or a trumpet.
Here we go.
I float back down. I say, "Oh, Mayor was right. We would recognize him."
Oh, Ophelia, I didn't realize you could speak brass instrument.
No, I can only speak dog.
as soon as I see him, his mouth, I have like a slide whistle that's tucked into my belt.
Mm-hmm.
So I like pull out my slide whistle, but also I'm 3, so I don't really know how to play it. So I just like go like.
And Brassy Walter starts going along with you.
Yeah, okay, we're jamming, we're vibing.
Yeah, he seems really into this.
My ears go down.
Yeah.
Ophelia has the map and the compass and is trying to orient, or do like orienteering, though it's a really bad map.
Right. Brassy Walter sees what you're up to, and he just gently reaches down, and he kind of on the top of your head, and then grabs the thing from you, and he's.
Yeah, it's like a marching band, and then I start playing my whistle again.
Yeah, Brassy Walter really likes this, and he starts clapping, and he's.
And I'll just start following him.
It's the picnic parade.
Yeah. And he starts heading out into the forest. Him.
I pull out the large empty bottle from my bag, and I just do the boom, 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 boom behind everybody.
Excellent. Brassy Walter is sort of at the head of this, and he now has your map. You can just let him go if you don't want to follow, but it seems like at least half of you are joining in on the tune.
Oh yeah.
I'll hop along, but will not make any sound.
I hurry back to go unhook Good Horse Charlie,
Mm.
and then I ride along after.
He has somehow eaten his entire leaf.
You were hungry today, I see. Such a good horse, Charlie.
You get maybe 15-20 minutes into the forest, Tim, when Brassy Walter turns around and starts gesturing at the 3 shapes on the thing, and he goes,
Pumpkin. Well, no, pumpkin should be last, shouldn't it? It's the biggest.
Is there an order we have to go in?
If we get the sword first, then we would have a sword.
That's true.
Definitely not wrong.
I don't know how to get a heart.
Wasn't it a heartbeat?
Like a beat?
Which is why
Like a
I
ring?
asked if it was literal.
I mean,
his finger goes to where you're talking about and points at a beat, and he goes.
is it more like a drum? Boom, 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 boom.
No, it's probably the graveyard where she went last year.
Oh.
Oh, this will be vexing to be sure. Maybe we should get the head before we get the heartbeat.
I still say sword first.
Question: what time of day is it?
You arrived at Calabash Hollow in the evening, after mid-afternoon. The daytime is starting to wane, and I'm going to retroactively say that midnight is when the last leaf falls in the forest hymn, and that is when the Pumpqueen will rise.
Okay.
I'll hop in front of Brassy Walter and I'll ask him, can we just is the sword in a place where we can just take it? Or would it be helpful? We have to charge in and fight. Would it be easier for us if the queen was already in her head with her heartbeat, or what do you think?
He points at one and goes, and he points at another one, and he points at the third, and then he does this with his hands.
We need all three.
Yes. But is
Make
there,
her.
I feel like there's an order. Is there an order?
I think we just need them all.
Need to assemble them back at the stage with the dress so
Yeah.
that they've got somewhere to be. Okay.
Sword.
Ophelia?
Sword.
Ophelia, I knew a wolf girl before, and I think you're right. Let's go get the sword.
Brassy Walter takes the piece of paper and turns it around as though it was a map, even though it has zero meaning, and just sticks a finger into the trumpet, lifts it up into the air, and then starts walking in a direction into the forest hymn.
As it starts getting darker out, I'm gonna be closer to either Granny or Thorn because they're light sources, and I don't like the dark.
I'll pull out an unnaturally large box of matches, strike one, and just hold it to my head. I'm going, oh no, it's not there. Oh no,
A little to the left. Oh, a little more. No, back. Ah! I think you got it.
As you wander, Brassy Walter kind of plays a tune, just a little jazzy tune as he goes along, and the sun starts to get closer to dusk, and then he turns around very suddenly and puts the twig finger over the horn and goes, and then he points up to points further up the road, and there's a sign sticking out, and behind it is a hill.
The sign say.
What does the sign say?
And he makes like sneaking gestures.
The sign says we have to sneak?
I think we need to get closer to see the sign.
He goes, and starts to sneak towards the sign. So I'm gonna get everyone to do their first roll of the game.
No!
Oh no.
Yes, this is a game we're playing, and not just me spouting a bunch of nonsense at you.
What?
Dang it.
Nonsense.
But I was enjoying the nonsense.
Well, I assure you, it will continue. That is my solemn vow. Let me get my rules here. All right, so obviously this will be an agility roll for everyone, and we want to see how sneaky you all can be. So I'm going to suggest that everyone who has it should add in their slink grade. Even if it's negative, you will add it in. And I will also argue that anyone skilled in chicanery will also be able to add that to it. So, but if you have both, add them together or subtract the lower from the higher if you are in the negative. So the way it works in the Forest Hymn and Picnic, you will roll your 20-sided die, and then you will look at your grades. And so, does anyone have negative in any of these?
No, I
Okay.
have +2. I have +1 for chicanery and +1 for slink. So
All right, so you'll be rolling 2 extra 6-sided dice. You get 2 gifts. Anyone else have any positives?
Yeah, I have a gift.
Okay, so you'll roll that along with your 20-sided die, and if you have multiple gifts, as Prince Ponyo does, you will choose the highest of them of the d6 rolls and add them to your total. Oh, and also your agility bonus, which is the difference between your number and 10.
yeah, I get +1 for that too.
All right.
17. My total is 18.
18
with
for
only
Prince
one of the
Ponyo.
D6s.
Granny Nana?
I have no gifts or anything, but I rolled a 19.
Excellent.
Nice.
Miss Ophelia Picnics?
I lift up my nightgown and float along with it.
I got a 3.
A 3, a total of 3.
A total of 3. I'm too excited about swords.
Thorn Lake Shadow, or Thorn Lake?
I rolled a 5. I'm too busy sloshing.
All right. And Patches.
With my gift and my positive modifier in agility, I rolled a fat 9.
All right.
So good.
Only Granny Nana and the light-footed Prince Ponyo managed to get up to this sign without any kind of issue. The rest of you make about the same amount of noise as you would have if you were a marching band. And between honey sloshing and goat falling and just boots stomping twigs, birds fly away out of the trees from so much noise. But you do get up to this.
Supposed to be quiet.
Get out of there!
Yeah, you run away, birds. So you find a sign, and it says, you find the sign that you knew was there, and you go up to the sign, and it reads, "The Last Battle of Squabble Hill." And then written in that similar kind of crayon underneath, it says, "Secret base of the last and only members of the Squabble Hill gang, do not enter."
Are you going to squabble with the squabbling gang?
Oh, I don't know. It says we shouldn't enter.
Well, we
You're right,
shouldn't
we
enter without knocking.
Oh, good point.
The sign is at the base of a hill with a path that's leading up, and there is up at the top the secret hideout of the last and only members of the Squabble Hill gang, which is a small shack about halfway up the hill. Further up at the very top, you can see things sticking out of the hill. It's hard to tell if they are tombstones or what. There seems to be a tattered flag, flapping in the wind. But between you and there is the secret base of the last and only members of the Squabble Hill gang.
Look, we got lost before. We can get lost again.
Are there any signs of life in the secret base, like light or smoke or anything?
Are you moving forward towards it?
Oh yeah, I'm just like every few steps I fall over, but I don't stop going forward. Unless it's dark. If it's totally dark, I won't leave Granny's side.
The sun is setting, but it's still like dusk, so you can kind of get a good idea.
I'm going to quietly follow Patches.
All right. As you approach, you do
Slowly.
see that there is smoke coming out of the secret base, out of the chimney, and the door creaks open.
Does it smell like just normal wood smoke?
Yeah, I imagine goats have pretty keen sense of smell. Yeah, it definitely smells like a wood fire burning.
Okay.
And there is a silhouette lit by this fire standing in the door. And he says, You best be leaving."
Why?
That's
Under
right.
whose authority?
By the authority of the last and only members of the Squabble Hill gang.
Is that an authority?
It is around these parts.
Well, if you're the last, then there aren't many of you, and perhaps you could use more company.
If we're the last and only, we're the only ones we need.
I still have my whistle in one hand, so I put it up to my mouth and I just go, woo.
Yeah, that's sad.
Is that goat mocking me?
No.
What's mocking?
Does anyone else hear that?
Do you have a cat?
Why would I have a cat? And then he squawks at you, and you realize in the silhouette he turns and he's got a beak. I
Maybe a cat's got you.
I suggest you make tracks.
I can't.
What kind of tracks?
Look.
I stopped moving. I moving.
I suggest you beat feet. Oh, I'm switching to another voice now. Sorry. I gotta be more rootin' tootin'. Oh no, it's still old prospector. That's what he was going for. All right. I said, leave now, and you won't get any trouble from the last and only members of the Squabble Hill gang.
What if we do want trouble?
Why, Miss People, you've come to the right place.
Ooh.
What did
Ophelia, they're birds. They're birds. No, don't. Just.
I've never touched a bird before.
We should go. No, we should go.
Fisticuffs?
No.
So.
Oh dear.
So the bird leans back into the little hut and says, Chester, Esther, they're looking for trouble.
Technically, we're looking for a sword.
And the bird steps forward into the dusk, and you see that they are crow. On their hip is a pistol. They've got a vest. But also are Donald ducking it, as many people of the forest him do, because can't. But then a second and third crow step out, near identical to that one, and they seem to be the aforementioned Esther and Chester. If it's trouble you want, it's trouble you got, people and friends.
Is there any way I can sneak up behind them somehow?
Yeah. So, you know what?
Can I overcome my terror of birds too?
You may need to roll against your own resolve in this situation, I think.
Yep.
So, you know what? I think we'll just jump into combat in a round, just to keep things nice and organized. Now, most people in the forest him aren't looking to get themselves shot or hurt. Most of them are just looking to be mean enough to someone else to make them go away. So your options to maim or harm people should be your last choice. And in fact, no one gets fully murdered. They just get unconscious. And you have to voluntarily stab them enough to kill them once they're in.
Point of order, if we're fighting a group of crows, wouldn't we technically all be getting murdered?
By crows? I don't get it. I'm very literal.
Whitney, we're going to have to discuss your behavior on this stream
Oh, no.
afterwards. Yeah. This is my first experience with you, and I am not impressed. No.
I thought puns were rewarded. This is a reward situation.
Oh, yeah. Well, that was a freebie, I guess. I don't know.
Punished.
All right. So I am jumping to the rules. And starting to fight.
If I can just talk to the party for a second, my intention is actually to take as much attention as possible so that everyone else can slink away.
Oh, I was definitely going to run away.
Yeah.
Do we want to maybe state our intentions to shape how it's going to be, or?
Like, I was mostly just going to growl and bark at them.
Right. I was going to be the legendary thief and sneak around behind them and steal their guns, so that we could then ignore them.
Or the sword.
The sword.
Yeah.
Look for a wooden sword.
Oh yeah.
Or a heartbeat. They may be stashing the heartbeat. We have no idea.
So we'll go into turn order kind of thing so that we're keeping organized. We don't have to call it a fight, but we will go into turn order. And in the Forest Hymn and Picnic, at the start of a brawl, everyone decides what their initiative is going to be. Now, each turn you're going to choose your initiative. You have a choice between fast or slow. If you go fast, you get to take your action first. If you go slow, you get to move and take an action, but you do that after all the fast folk have gone. All your opponents also get to choose fast or slow, except that you all have the advantage over them. Actually, no, they have advantage over you since you made so much damn noise.
There would be they're fast, are fast, they're slow, are slow.
Correct.
Okay.
I'm going to put on some more squabbling music, and then we will be good to go.
I would like to posit that I would like to go fast.
One of the actions listed in the rules is to distract a foe with a joke about their mother.
Oh snap! I don't have the rules up. I should look at the rules.
All right, and then there are movement is very simple. You don't have a range of movement or anything like that. You just move from area to area. So there are 3 areas involved in this fight: the current edge of the woods that you're in, the secret hideout of the last and only members of the Squabble Hill gang, and then Squabble Hill, which is perhaps your destination. I don't know. So one move moves you between one and another. And you can evade and things without having to roll. Your movement is free in that way. All right. I'm gonna go around and ask everyone who wants to go fast and who wants to go slow. Granny Nana?
I'm going to let the fast people go first, and I'll go slowly. I'll just float along, please and thank you.
Okay. So Granny Nana's going slow. Prince Ponyo?
Is it apparent that Ophelia is going to do something dumb?
Oh yeah, 100%.
I'm going to go fast.
I'm giving the hand signal.
Yeah, I'm gonna. The years will fall away, and I will charge very quickly through them and out the other side without attacking them.
All right, so that's slow for Granny, fast for Ponyo, and that's fast for Ophelia.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Thorn Lake.
Slow, please.
Slow.
The ghosts are just drifting behind us.
It takes a while for us to catch up. Got to get momentum.
And Little Miss Peaches. Patches.
Patches.
Peaches is someone else, another goat I once knew.
I'm going to go fast.
All right, Patches got to go fast.
Gotta go fast.
Sonic the Patches. All right. So we, and I have to decide for Esther, Chester, and Fester. We're going to say they're all going to go fast because they are not interested in dealing with yous, and they're already in their secret base. Okay, so Esther, Chester, and Fester are going to take the first moves. Now, we're going to start with a quick draw. Fester, the first one that came out, he's going to angle his pistol, a clanky device that has one shot in it, and he's going to level it at who would be the toughest looking amongst you?
Not me.
I think I have 11 strength.
Okay.
I think I'm also wearing a wolf pelt.
It's our people. Our people is the most dangerous.
They might think you are some kind of werewolf or something, so perhaps they will target you first. So when you're making an attack, you choose your target. If it's close up, you're using strength. If it's far away, you're using agility. And then if you have daggers, you add that to your close-up fights. And if you have pistol, you add that to your distance, range attacks. Pistol covers anything that's ranged. So that could be a slingshot. It could be a boomerang. It's whatever you need it to be. It all falls under pistol. And same wise for daggers. That could be a mace, a sword, an old boot, whatever you're using in the current moment. For the case of Fester, he is quite quick, and he has +1 in his pistol. So he's going to roll a d20 and a d6. And he's rolling against your defense. Now, he got a 25, which is anything above a 20 does an extra wound.
Oh no, you just got shot.
So there is a thunderous crack. Oh.
Can I do anything with luck to help me on that?
I
don't. Testing your luck.
You test your luck when you are making a move yourself.
Okay, so I can't use it on someone else.
You know what? I'll allow it. You want to spend one of your luck and flip your coin? If it comes up, your fair token?
It did.
All right, we'll reduce that down to a 10. So that means you only take 1 wound from this instead of 2. You, Nimble and Wolflack dodge just out of the way as this large metal piece of lead just, maybe it cuts through some of the pelt, leaving an extra hole in it.
Okay.
So you've got a limited number of wounds that are equal to your health. When they are reduced down to 0, you fall unconscious and need to be, you need to get some rest, be healed if you are an animal folk or a people, or stitched up if you are a ghost, as some of your innards drift away in the wind.
Oops.
All right, that was Fester. Chester and Esther are each gonna yell a taunt out at you. Esther looks down at Prince Ponyo and yells, "That's pretty funny looking clothes for a bunny." He calls you a bunny. That's the mean thing that he does. So, what is your resolve?
My resolve is 9.
All right. So he is gonna roll. He's got +1 to chicanery.
I'm gonna take a wound from being insulted.
He only rolled a 5, which is not good enough. Prince Ponyo, you steel yourself against what he has to say, and you know in your heart of hearts you were never a bunny and never will be.
No, actually, I am a bunny, and thank you for saying such nice things to me. It reminds me of another girl that I knew before.
So many girls. The Esther is going to also taunt Patches, and she's going to say, "Well, isn't she sweet? What are you going to do? Fall over?" What is Esther's resolve?
Patches resolve.
Sorry, Patches.
Is a 9.
All right, this one succeeds with a 21. You're gonna get a gag on your next action, whatever it is. You're gonna get default 1 gag,
which is minus 1d6 from the roll. Okay.
It'll cancel out a +1 if you have any of those. Otherwise, if it's the only thing you have, you'll have a -1. So.
No, Patches, it isn't true.
And I fall over.
Yeah. And all 3 of them kind of laugh to themselves. No one defeats the last and only members of the Squabble Hill gang.
Are you sure about that?
So we go on to your fast folks. So Ponyo, Ophelia, and Patches, you get to choose sort of what order you're going in.
I'd like to taunt the one with a gun.
Okay.
Oh, silly people.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't have I could just shoot them. That just seems rude. Actually, could I wing an apple at him?
Yeah.
I have an apple.
Give me an agility roll. Add in your pistol. Weirdly enough.
15.
All right. An apple up against. So you're aiming for the gunslinger, Crow.
Yeah.
His defense is a mere 8. So as the apple flies, he's kind of like chuckling to his siblings, and then a very solid apple wings him in the head.
You call that a shot? Barely even grazed me.
Lucky for you, I like moonshine and cider. That's what
Not after this.
All right, that's Ophelia. Who's going next between Ponyo and Patches?
I might as well go next. I just want to run. I just want to run right between his legs and up the road behind to get to the other side and
all right.
Onward.
So when you go fast, if you move, it's all you do on your turn.
Yep.
And you are trying to kind of duck past me.
Exactly.
All right. Make a agility roll for me. You can toss in Funambulist, or you must toss in Funambulist.
I do not have any Funambulist, so it's just going to be a straight D20 +1 for agility.
All right.
Well, that's a total of 7. 7, I say.
You try and bound past them, and Esther just reaches out a hand and kind of stops you in your track, and you fall down on your butt right near her feet.
Oh, it's my game leg.
It seems as though you're learning tricks from your little goat friend.
So speaking of, I wanted to use my action to hide or like take cover.
Sure.
So is there like a convenient bush?
Yeah, you're just on the edge of the forest, so you can easily find a bush to dive into.
That is what I would want to do after as soon as I like draw any kind of attention. The first time she insulted me, I would have been like, ah, and then run away to hide.
All right. You are diving behind a small bush, and so that is a -1 to attack rolls against you.
Cool.
All right, Patches pieces out. That brings us to the slow folk.
The bush is just kind of shivering.
So Granny and Thornlake, who would like to go first?
Yeah, they are doing mean stuff to my friends. And which one of them is was attacking Ophelia?
The middle one.
Okay.
Fester. He was the first one out the door.
I would like to go up to them and say, I hear when birds get to be your age, their mothers throw them out of the nests. I can see why. And I'm trying to do the insult to distract the foe, which uses intelligence, because I don't have a lot of physicality as a ghost.
Well, you are actually making a, you'll make a intelligence roll, but it's against their intelligence to see if they fall for it.
But I do get to add a gift, because I have +1 to intelligence, right?
You get to add a total of +1 to the total of your roll.
Oh, okay.
But do you have chicanery?
I do not have chicanery.
Do you have decorum?
I do not have decorum.
Well, then you're on your own here. So you're gonna roll your d20 and you're gonna add 1.
Got a 14 +1, 15.
Fester, who is lining up another shot, lowers his gun immediately and says, "No one talks about my mama that way. I mean, you're right, but you don't need to repeat it to me." And like tears start to well up in his eyes.
Oh no! Oh, there! Ha! Oh, I did it bad.
He just kind of drops the gun and starts like, just like arms straight at his side, sobbing.
No, I feel bad.
You were mean to a bird. How are you feeling about yourself now, huh, big ghost?
You did it good.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to help my friends.
Thornlake, it is your turn as the slowest of the slow.
The very slowest. Ophelia's been hurt. I do not like that. I would like to try and heal them up
All
by
right.
jamming my small tea kettle into my own body to remove some warm tea to pour on their wounds.
All right. Grotesque and adorable at the same time. I will allow
The
it.
force in him.
Yeah. Healing, reviving your friends and yourself. All right. It looks like just every application of it heals a wound, but unfortunately, in the case of ghosts, so ghosts are filled with stuffing of some kind. Sometimes it's malevolent stuffing, and sometimes it's healing, friendly stuffing. And both of our ghosts are healing, friendly ghosts. So, Ophelia, if you accept this gift of honeyed tea, you will heal one wound. But unfortunately, Thorn Lake has to drain something of her tea supply, and she takes a wound herself.
That still does not get less unsettling every time you've done it, but I appreciate it.
Is there a faucet or something? Like, how does it come out of you?
I'm just jamming my this little tea kettle into it. The lid's off into me. Wait for a little second, fill it up, pull it out, put the lid back on, and pour it over Ophelia.
Perfect. That's perfect. Okay. We're at the top of we're back to the top of the round, and so.
Can you remind me do we know what the Pumpkin Queen's sword is supposed to look like?
It didn't even. It was a drawing of the sword, but all it said was her mighty weapon.
Do any of these three have swords on them? Do we even know if it's a sword?
It seems to be maybe up to you. The qualifier is mighty, so as long as you think it's mighty enough for the Pumpqueen, it's probably fine.
Do any of these three have a mighty weapon on them other than those nasty pistols?
The pistol looks like it's just as likely to harm Fester as it is to harm someone else.
Yeah, that's why I don't like pistols. No, but do
Esther
they have
doesn't
swords?
seem armed at all, and Esther and Chester don't seem armed at all.
There may be something in the hut.
Okay, I think I'll try to sneak into the hut.
All right, fast or slow, Ponyo?
I'm gonna go fast again. I'm so quick. I'm quick.
Okay.
Keep telling myself that. And I'll try to,
Okay, that's
quick.
fast for Ponyo. And Granny.
Slow.
All right, Ophelia.
Also slow.
Bum bum bum. Thorn Lake
No.
and Patches.
Slow.
Everyone's taking a little breather.
No, I have running to do.
I'm leaking.
We're gonna have everyone go fast again up on the hill, but yeah. Sorry, I'm just trying to figure out who goes first from turn to turn.
I like the squabbling music.
Yeah, you can't not get it to it.
I was gonna say, I literally can't stop dancing.
It's like we're all just start doing the Charleston.
It's like this whole game is like Cuphead, but not shitty.
All right, so it looks like because they knew you were coming, they got the advantage for the whole fight. So
They knew we were coming.
yeah, well, there was a catastrophic noise just at their doorstep. So Fester is weeping, and he runs into the hut just like sad as can be. Esther says, "Now look what you did," and she runs in behind Fester into the hut.
I'm sorry.
Fester's kind of lost as to what he's doing, and he just starts stumping down the hill towards you. He's a little beefier than his siblings, and he's coming down, rolling up his sleeves. But yeah, so he's just moving. He's moving down to your to the entrance of the woods. So next up is just Ponyo.
Oh, so everyone has just left me. I'm just standing here by myself.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're closest. You're the person who's moved furthest up Squabble Hill, so you can see better what's up at the top. And it seems to be a bunch of soldiers' graves, but the headstones are all different weapons.
Oh well, I'm gonna just move quickly up the hill to see if I can find a weapon that looks like something a Pumpkin Queen would use.
All right, you find yourself up in Squabble Hill, surrounded by the strange and varied tombstones of the battlers who died here. But that is your turn for now. Okay, now the slow folks, or the slow pokes, as it were. Who wants to go first slow between Granny, Ophelia, Thorn Lake, and Patches?
I was just going to. So two of them went back into the shack. Am I in a place where I could like wander into the shack without the one that's still outside noticing me?
I will allow it, but you'll need to make a slink, an agility roll with some slinking.
Okay, I will do that. I don't have any slink. Oh, and I still have that gag, so I'll actually take -1.
If you can convince me that something else can be added into this total by describing how you're doing it, perhaps.
Well, I'm not going to argue for chicanery because I'm not like trying to get in the way that Panya was trying to get in. I'm just being a toddler, and like
right.
once I got into the bush and was out of immediate danger and not in anybody's attention anymore, I got kind of bored. So now I'm just wandering towards where there's light and fire and warmth.
Okay.
We'll make a straight roll.
Yes, with a minus, with a gag, which you will subtract from your total.
Yeah. Woofa doofa, that's a 4.
You were trying to sneak into the secret hideout?
Yeah, just walk straight into the shack, yeah.
You do walk straight into the shack, and you kind of let out a inadvertent bleat and then suddenly the two crow folk turn to look at you, and Esther seems to be cradling Fester in her arms, and she's like, it's all right, they didn't really mean it.
I'm just like eating an apple. Like,
yeah, and he's sobbing, and then he immediately stops sobbing, and they both like look over at you at the same time, like, huh?
So since I've used that gag now, is that gone?
Yeah, it was just on your next action.
Okay, cool.
All right, if you had rolled really well, I might allow you to do a little more, but you find yourself standing right in the doorway, sneakily. Yeah. So that was Patches. Cool. Who wants to go next?
I can go next.
All right.
And kind of was it Fester?
Fester is the remaining. Yeah, he's basically he's almost at you.
Yeah. So if it's I can scrap. I was mostly just a distraction though, and then I'm gonna swing with my fist.
Sorry, my own naming scheme is confusing me. This is Chester.
Oh, Chester. Okay. Yeah. Which it's technically I marked it in my equipment as a weapon, but.
Sorry. What are you swinging?
My fist.
Oh yeah, that's a punch weapon, yeah. And it's totally allowed. So you're gonna make a strength roll. I will. You obviously add daggers because that makes sense. And I think his overwhelming size might give you one gag.
Gag.
He's big.
Okay. Let me re-roll that then.
Just punch him low.
And I get a +1 for 11 strikes, so I got an 11.
All right, that's just enough to give him an old heave-ho into the belly, and you will do 1 wound to Big Chester.
You can back out any time.
You gave him the old what for?
Mm-hmm. No shame in knowing your limits.
Got beat up by a little kid. Good Good thing his brother and sister didn't see it. All right, so we've got the ghosts left.
So he just got punched?
Oh, you can move if you like.
Yeah.
Ophelia, you can move and take you. That's the going slow.
I'm gonna say, punched him in the gut. He kind of like heaved over, and I did that thing where I put both my hands on his shoulders and jump over him and start running up the road.
I would expect no less. So you find yourself just outside the cabin, the little secret base. All right. So Granny, you seem to have something in mind.
Yeah. So he just got punched and embarrassed by Ophelia, who did a hop a skip jump over him. And so now I want to, like, where he's bent down, I'm going to, like, my nightgown is kind of going to just, like, bend sideways. And my little firefly light face is going to, like, look at this guy and be like, you don't seem to be doing well. I think you should cease and desist what you're doing right now. And I'm going to try to convince him to surrender.
All right. That's against his...
It's resolve.
His resolve, all right. And we are definitely talking about... Sorry, you did this to Chester, right?
The one that just got punched, yeah.
Yeah, so you're going to make a...
Resolve roll against his resolve roll?
Yeah, and you can add in Colonel if you have it.
I don't have that. I could, however, take... I do actually have a Napoleon-style hat on top of my firefly hat. I never mentioned this. And there's a big sunflower on the top. I could take off the sunflower and give it to him and be like, here, take this back with you. Maybe make your mommy happy.
So you're attempting to use your bouquet?
I'm trying to use my bouquet.
By providing him with a literal bouquet?
Literally.
Yes.
All right. I'll allow it.
Yay!
So make a resolve roll with one gift.
Yay! Ooh, okay. Hang on. I rolled an 18, plus 1, 19, 2 on my gift, 21.
Nice.
All right. Chester, which is his name, stops dead in his tracks, and he looks down and he says, "No one's ever given me a gift before."
There.
And he reaches out and grabs the flower, and he like brings it in real close, and he like holds it up and he smells it. This is a good one.
It's fresh from from Thorn's garden. Theirs is nicer.
Not listening.
All right, Granny, would you like to move?
No, I'm gonna stay here with this fellow.
All right. And last but not least is Thorn Lake.
I would like to try bargaining with him. He mentioned earlier that he likes moonshine and cider, and I'm really good at making spirits. I'd like to adjust his recipe in exchange, at some point, for a great weapon.
All right. Well, so it was, I know it's confusing with all the different crow folk, but it was Fester, the pistol guy, who was talking about booze. Okay. But you have your movement, so you can move up and survey the scene.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I'll do that.
All right. So you drift up the hill, and you find yourself standing behind Patches, who is just munching on an apple, kind of like walking in on Mom and Dad, trying to have a nap or watch a movie together or something like that. She's just sort of standing there eating the apple. Sorry, I was going for wholesome activities because this is a wholesome show. But she's just sort of standing there awkwardly observing the goings-on, the snuggling going on inside. And there are two kind of startled crowfolk siblings just trying to console each other.
Hello. Sorry for interrupting. Ian, I just overheard you saying before about the old moonshine and cider thing that you like. I'm really, really good at making spirits. Yes. Yep, that's exactly it. Spirit to make spirits. I know what you're thinking. I was just wondering if...
There's a look on his face like, he almost goes cross-eyed trying to think about it.
I was just wondering if maybe I could adjust your recipe to make it even more potent in exchange for a great weapon. A mighty weapon, even. And then we'll leave you alone.
Fester looks at you, tears drying on his face, and he says, the family recipe ain't changed in a dog's age. There's nothing you could do to improve on it.
Are you sure?
I'm not. You have to make a roll.
Still off.
So I think this is a bit of a stare down as much as it is your knowledge. So maybe a resolve roll.
Okay.
But you can add in your brewer.
Yes.
And I would say before you roll, I'm going to say that perhaps what's your decorum?
Nothing.
Okay. Then I will say just go ahead and roll with your one gift.
The natural 20.
Oh.
Plus 3, so 23.
He gets up out of his sister's embrace and he wipes the snot off his face and he comes over to you and he says, "Well, it can't be said that I ain't amenable to change from time to time. What you got, Ghost?"
Show me your recipe. Crow?
I ain't showing you the recipe. You're just making the voice is changing all over the place. You're just
The crying took it out of you, huh?
Yeah,
Drinking too much moonshine.
I need to have some water. You have to alter the recipe without seeing it.
You see how this is, right? You ever tried doing something you can't see?
All the time.
Actually, yep, I can picture
It's
that.
late at night. I'm trying to find the washroom. I've got countless examples.
We can stop right there.
I've been keeping a list.
You can write. Sorry, that's really.
What would you say, Ghost?
Well, I've got some special apples back at my place. They're top of the range. Been cultivating them for years and years, and even more than that. They make the best moonshine.
Give me an intelligence roll. You can toss in your brewery skill, because you're gonna. I imagine you're scanning the. You can kind of get an idea what ingredients he might use. Yep.
21.
Oh yeah. You immediately just offer him a couple of ingredients, which he throws into a still, and it kind of shakes around and kind of pops and smoke shoots out, and then
I'm gonna do a walk around the still and go woo, ghostly goodness.
Yeah, you add in a bit of that ghost magic to it. I understand. And then it's moving and popping and stops, and then he goes and he pours a little glass. Tosses it back, and
crazy.
As much as a crow can grin, his grin just gets real big, and he says, "You're hired."
Well, all I needed in exchange was a mighty weapon.
Well, there's a bunch of crap up on Squabble Hill. It's all yours.
I'm so happy right now. Do a little sloshy jig.
I mean, we've already picked out the good stuff.
Well, I need the mightiest.
Well, I'm sure for whatever your purposes are, you'll find something good up there. Hidden treasures. He goes back to pouring drinks for his brother and sister. So Ponyo, you're up on the hill.
Yeah. So there's a bunch of graves up here.
Well, yeah, they're loose graves. They're like weapons jammed into the ground, few stones at the base to keep them stable.
What's growing around the graves?
There's some mushrooms. Now I'm just doing the crow voice all the time.
No, I don't like mushrooms. No, sir. Are there any nettles? Do any of the graves have nettles next to them? I have a little hankering for some spicy nettles.
flip a coin, and if it lands on your fair token, then maybe you got lucky.
Right, hang on.
Are the rest of you all joining him up on Squabble Hill? Or is there anything you'd like to do?
What else is, so there's like a still and stuff inside this shack. What else is in there?
There's a small stove. There's a triple bunk bed. There's like a weapon rack that looks like it's seen better days. There's like a little bag hanging off of it that looks like the rest of the ammunition for the pistol. And then there's a couple of barrels of what looks like apples and things that are starting to brown.
Is there a sword on the rack?
It's sort of like it's like Sting, you know, like from the Hobbit. It's a small little dagger.
We're all gonna come up with a different weapon.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I would just take that, or
Sure.
try to.
I'd say they're distracted. You know what? Actually, give me an agility roll. You can add your chicanery or your slink, and your slink if you got it.
19.
Yeah, you slip the little dagger right off the rack.
I just take it.
Yeah, so
and then I'll walk out.
All right.
Yeah. Meanwhile, up at the top, I did not find nettles or anything good to eat, so I'm gonna take a nap next to one of the graves. I'm tired. That was a big run for me. So
Okay. So the rest of you at various times find your way up to the top of Squabble Hill and find Ponyo exasperated from the day's exertions already. He just napping up against the tree.
Oh, we shouldn't wake his princeliness. Wait, and
only my nose is moving.
which of these is the biggest, you think?
So a quick surveillance of this graveyard shows that mostly it's swords. They are sabers, and mostly sabers. There is one kind of large broadsword that looks like it'll take two of you to carry back. But there's also a morning star, big, spiky ball on the end of a long pole.
Which is shinier?
They're both in poor disrepair.
I'll as soon as I see the broadsword, I'll kind of wander up to it with my little sword, and I'll drop the little sword and try to pick up the broadsword, but I'm too small.
Make a strength.
Yeah. I'm just kind of tugging at it. What is my strength? Is 11.
Yeah, so you lift it out of the ground. You manage to do that, and then you immediately just start falling backwards and like going ass over tea kettle down the hill.
Ophelia's gonna start chasing.
All right,
patches!
Ophelia, give me an agility against Patches.
Can I add a fumbulist? Funambulist?
Yeah, you can add Funambulist. Yep.
Okay.
Oh, and I just roll agility.
No, it's just against your agility, we'll say.
21.
Okay. Ophelia, I imagine you managed to dive and grab onto Patches and stop her tumble about a third of the way down the hill.
Patches, you found the best one!
It was bigger.
Yeah. Sword.
That'll wake me up. Oh, well, I see you found what we need.
Yes. And it's getting dark, so we should probably hurry on to the other things.
So, your friend Brassy Walter had been hiding, though he, as adventurous, he is not a combatant, and he was hiding behind a tree, and you could see the roundness of his pumpkin on either side of the tree, and he just leans out and waves at you. He comes over and he gently takes the sword and sticks it literally right into the stuffing in his back so that he can hold it. And some like
Just go down.
some plum pits start falling out of him. That seems to be what he's filled with, is plum pits. I think where do you want to go next? And then maybe we'll take a break now because we went a little longer in.
Do we get the head or the heartbeat?
Do we?
Pumpkins.
I think it's all metaphysical. We can get either one first.
Why don't we start with the head and try and think of where we might find a heartbeat?
Sounds like a plan.
Upon mentioning the heartbeat, Brassy Walter does the funeral march again.
Oh, we have to go to the graveyard.
Another graveyard. Another graveyard.
There's a lot of graveyards
Yeah,
here.
were we
Pumpkin
just at a
Man.
can we just use this graveyard?
What is a graveyard? I don't understand what that means.
It's where people like us at Emotion to Thorn leave our bodies to sleep.
Oh, okay.
Forever.
We don't need them
Yeah.
anymore.
I have a bedroom.
And then on that hilarious outburst, we'll take a little breather, I think, at the little over the halfway mark.
Yep. So we'll be back in a bit. Feel free to get up, get yourself a drink or a snack or whatever. And I do just want to say thank you really quick because we're already over 10% of our goal, I think. So.
Oh, dang.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone, and we'll see
Thanks
you
to everyone
soon.
who's been watching so far.
Yeah, thanks for hanging out with us. See you soon. Oh, hi. Fancy seeing you there. We're back. Have you been... It's nice to see you. Are you ready for more Forest Tip and Picnic? Let's I hope so, because we're doing it. Let's go.
Okay, let's dive right back in. Where we last left our foolish adventurers, they had just retrieved what they feel is a mighty weapon for the Pumpqueen. And they decided the next thing the queen needs is a royal head. So, Brassy Walter, very familiar where the patch is, starts leading you through the woods. And during this time, darkness finally falls. Dusk turns to night, and there is very little lighting your way.
I shake my little lightning bug head.
Okay.
To wake them. I'm like, wake up, and like to make sure it's as glowy as possible.
And I'm leaning forward a bit more when I walk.
And I'm
I
also
imagine-
cradling my jar of fireflies.
Same thing here. Jar of lightning bugs.
Oh, I'm glad we all came prepared.
That provides you with a nice kind of crown of light around you as you wander through. You can also see when Brassy Walter checks back on you, you can see there's the glow, very vibrant glow from inside of his pumpkin head. As you start to forget where you're heading, you suddenly, Walter puts a hand up and points forward. He knows enough not to make a noise after the debacle of the previous time. And he points into the clearing ahead where indeed there is a magnificently huge pumpkin patch of pumpkins of all different sizes. Some you could hollow out and 2 or 3 of you could live inside. They're so big. But there's also kind of a strange humming sound, kind of a and as you all sort of peer around the thin frame of Brassy Walter, you do see that there is a rather large bear person who has 2 big canvas bags hanging like slung across their shoulders, and they are humming to themselves and punching holes into pumpkins and scooping all the guts out and tossing them into the canvas bags. They're so into their work, they have no idea that you're there. What would you like to do?
Should we introduce ourselves?
Maybe he's doing the work for us of hollowing out a pumpkin, which has to be done anyway, right?
As you say that, the bear scoops a bunch of guts out and then just punts what's left of the pumpkin into the woods, and their big boot just shatters it.
He's
And they're like,
being-
Oh no,
I
that's
Brassy, you should probably
unbearable.
hide.
Another pun. Oh god. I fall
I'd
over.
like to float up behind him and go in his ear.
Turns around, ghost.
Ooh,
And
I'm
then
the ghost of the pumpkin patch.
they bring up big bear fists and they say, "No one messes with the pumpkin gut bandit."
Pause right there, friend. You're surrounded.
I hold up my fireflies over like another pumpkin, so it looks like firefly, like another ghost, maybe.
Right. Okay. I'll get a. If you want to do a resolve roll, Ponyo, and you can add in entertainer, since you are kind of mimicking something.
Nope. I have decorum, but this is probably not such a. Yeah. So that would be a resolve. Well then, it's a d20 -1.
And I'll get Thorn Lake. You can do a resolve and perhaps a chicane. No, what would you be?
I've got nothing.
Okay, let's just say it's a little jab at
Unless
them.
I go
I get
with
a total of
sortilege
15.
and the world of the supernatural.
Okay. You're just trying to do a ghost. That's right, because you're like trying to spook them. All right, let's get a sortilege roll.
Sortilege.
One of
Yeah.
them.
Ponyo, what did you get?
I rolled a 16 -1, 15.
All right. He briefly looks over and says, "Oh, you brought your friends." Looks over at the floating things. What did you get, Thorn Lake?
4. I rolled real great, you guys.
You can flip your coin.
I can flip my coin. And does that mean I get to roll again?
So technically, the coin gets used when as you're rolling. You kind of have to
Okay.
decide, but I will allow you to do it to see if it comes up in your favor this time around.
All right, let's see. My fear token is heads, and I got tails.
All right. You're right. You got me surrounded, but you're not very scary. And he leans in really close and stares you down. How many more of you ghosts are out there? He's like looking around.
Well, I rolled pretty well on my resolve, so I think
Yeah.
I'm gonna hop up. I'm gonna hop up to him and just be as princely as possible.
Still trying to be a ghost?
No, I left the fireflies on top of a pumpkin, so they're still back there.
Okay,
so
I see.
maybe
So he thinks
they're
it's a
still
ghost. Yeah.
I say, well, we have my subjects and I would like to ask you for a favor. I am Prince Ponyo, as you probably know. What is your name?
My name's known far and wide. I'm Bip Radley, Pumpkin Gut Bandit.
Well, could you perhaps tell us which of the pumpkins in this place would make an excellent head for a queen of pumpkins?
He looks around, chuckles, picks one up. There ain't nothing I hate more than a pumpkin. And he crushes it.
No!
It's already been scooped out, and he chucks the remains. So if you like
Stay
pumpkins,
back, Brassy. Stay back.
if you like pumpkins, and then he like steps forward and stomps one, then you come to the wrong guy, and he like kicks another one.
Oh, okay.
Is he like a big fluffy bear?
He's a grizzly in a tunic, like he's a real bear.
Does he
kind of
look
bear.
like is he kind of like Little John from the Disney Robin Hood?
Oh yeah.
He's like the mean bear and Brother Bear, the other Disney film with a bear.
Anyway, I'm gonna keep writing my resolve roll. And
No, that is basically the same bear from Robin Hood. They both have the same voice, even I think. So
I'm gonna keep writing my resolve roll if I can, and just stand up put my nose up against his nose and be like, we still got you surrounded, and so we're gonna need you to scoop out one of these good pumpkins and not crush it after. Okay?
All right, give me a resolve roll against old Bip Radley's resolve.
If I don't do well, I'm gonna flip a coin. So
you do. Oh, yeah, you want to declare that at the beginning. We'll start doing that now.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm declaring it then. So do I flip the coin now and just
One
get
second.
a success?
Let's see if I can hamper you further.
Because I'm really scared.
Yeah. You know what? You're gonna get one. This is a bargain, and we're gonna use your trade skill, which I see as a -1.
Yeah. Okay.
So you're gonna get one one gag.
One gag. Okay. Well, let's try. And am I still doing resolve?
Yes.
So it's going to be d20 -1 minus a d6. I rolled a 17 and I rolled a 2 on the d6, so that's 15. So it's 14. So a couple of poops come out of my bum, but
that does beat his resolve, and so Bip Bradley, the pumpkin gut bandit, leans down real close, and he pushes your nose back, and you sink down onto your haunches, and he says, "What's in it for me?"
Anyone?
Oh, do you only like pumpkin guts?
He turns to you and he says, "It's my favorite thing."
Well, have I got a deal for you?
You are so smart, Ophelia.
I will give you the largest pumpkin guts in here. I'll do it for you. And then
He stands up really big. And I need you to make this is a
I fall over backwards.
This is a intelligence roll, I guess, against his resolve. Is there anything you'd like to try and add in?
I'm trying to think, how does wealth come into play?
Wealth is really wealth is more of a shopping type thing. But if you want, I'll give you one gift if you're like trying to flash a little bit of that you know what you're talking about when it comes to fancy stuff, maybe.
Okay. Yeah, we'll do that.
Okay.
All right. 19.
So he's gotten really big and he's looking down, and then he kind of stretches his shoulders out and he says,
I'm mimicking.
"You know, I haven't had a night off from gut banditing in some time, so."
You look like you could use it.
Yeah, maybe I need it. And he like slaps his knees and leans back and sort of just falls back into a sitting position like bears do, and he squashes a pumpkin underneath him.
Excellent.
And then he kind of reaches under his butt and he scoops some of the goop and he like eats it. You know how they drag it, their paw across their face to eat the goop.
Patches.
Meh.
We need to find the biggest pumpkin. I need you to punch in the head.
Use your horns.
Okay.
Just kind of like try to find the biggest one and like roll it sideways so that the top becomes.
I'll like run into the patch if somebody follows me with light.
All right, I will need. Who's helping? The finding the biggest pumpkin is easy. It's the biggest pumpkin, and it is quite big. It's going to be tough for even Brassy Walter to put his very weird long limbs around. You think he might be able to do it?
We're going to need the gut bandit to help us bring this pumpkin.
Well, I am gonna like headbutt it because they told me to punch it, so I'm gonna like.
It's gonna need at least 2 people to tilt this pumpkin up. So who's gonna do that? Well, Patches, you got to run into it as well.
Okay, yeah, never mind.
I mean, I can try, but I'm a ghost.
Yeah.
Ghosts can't do it.
Ophelia's strong.
I can just float through it.
Yeah.
All right, so Ophelia and Ponyo are gonna try.
I'm gonna try to get the bear to do it. I think I can get a good prince and subject relationship going.
I can offer you a blackberry tart to give him as a payment sort of thing if you want to do that as well.
I'll sniff that. Seems good enough.
All right.
Sure. Yeah. So can I maybe talk the bear into, first of all, helping us scoop out this pumpkin, bring it back to the village. We can reward him with a blackberry tart, and maybe like the village say they don't need all their stuffing, so there must be a ton of stuffing he can get for free from them without having to work a day.
As long as they don't stomp their heads in.
So
oh God, he's the bear serial
Wipe
killer.
out the
It's
town.
like Crush.
So Ponyo, I'm gonna get you to roll your intelligence. You're gonna add your decorum to it.
I was gonna say decorum, please.
Yeah. And also I'll give you one extra gift since
wow.
you're providing a literal gift.
Yes. All right, here we go. A roll of 16 plus 6. Holy crap. I should be like taking pictures of these rolls. But yeah, so 12 of 22.
So what do you say to the bear?
Yeah, so I'll say so he just kind of sat back and relaxed.
Yeah.
So I'm going to hop up on his knee and just kind of get up to his face level, and I'll say, "My good man, I would like to call
While he's
upon..."
speaking to you, he has one claw out and he's picking his teeth.
Yeah. I'll get right into his face again, and I'll say, you don't like to work. I see. You're more of a laissez-faire kind of fellow.
If I'm lucky, my love of pumpkin gut overrides my laziness.
Well then, I have a proposition for you. What would you say for just one more job? Maybe a small gift of this pie, and I like put the pie right in front of his nose. The tart, sorry, it's a tart. Maybe you could help us to tilt over and empty out this pumpkin that we found, and then bring it to Calabash Hollow, where you could maybe speak to the mayor of the pumpkin people and make a deal to get all of their hollowed out pumpkins without having to work at all. What do you say to that?
Meanwhile, in the background, I'm just kind of repeatedly running into this pumpkin and not really doing anything.
Or your horns get stuck in it, you know?
Yeah. Bip grabs the little tart.
Tart, yeah.
And as he's considering the offer, he scoops all of the blueberry part out, eats it, and then chucks he's a guts only kind of guy. And he just chucks the rest of the tart. And as he's like, a town full of pumpkin folk, you say?
Now, we'd like to avoid any mass murder of pumpkin folk, so if you could somehow control your base urges and not crush any pumpkin heads, I'm sure that they would be very happy if you would take from them that which they do not need. Pumpkin stuffing.
I'll see what I can do, Rabbit. And he gets up, pushes you off of his knee, and heads over and just, very simply tilts the pumpkin up without an issue. Patches, you're up. Give me an agility with funambulist.
I get up very slowly.
You know what? If you've got daggers, you could toss that into.
I have negative daggers.
Yeah, we're animals, man. We can't fight.
All right. Well, unfortunately, I think it needs to be in there since accuracy is important in this case. So, I guess you're just kind of zeroed out.
Take my... I don't have funambulist either, so it's actually... if I have to put daggers in there, I have a gag.
Oh, I thought you had funambulisms.
I wanted funambulisms, but it wasn't an animal choice.
Yeah, animals aren't good at fighting or jumping around.
I guess.
Yeah. Fair enough. Well, okay, you get one gag, unfortunately, you're 3 years old. This really shouldn't go well for you.
This is strength or agility?
I'll give you the one advantage, which I think is using it agility.
Yeah, okay. 11? 12.
You plow headfirst straight into the top of this pumpkin, and you do bash a hole in, but it's also big enough for you to fall in too. And so there is like a squish sound as a bunch of pumpkin guts squirts out where you have fallen in.
And you just hear me go, "Moo!"
Patches, are you okay?
Whoa, you're eating my stash. You're eating my stash. And the bear goes and reaches out and pulls you out and then just kind of shakes you like a rag like this until most of the pumpkins fall off.
like pepitas all over my face.
And then he kind of drops you a little roughly,
He
and then he just starts.
Hey, gentle.
Ow!
Who's after my guts?
Nicely.
He very carefully starts scooping it all out into the canvas bags, which you'll note are like leaking out the bottom. He leaves a trail everywhere he goes of seeds and guts.
I'm gonna hop over and start helping Patches to clean themselves off.
All right.
So I meant like I'm already a dirty child, so it's just like kind of.
Now you're gonna be sticky too, which is.
I'm gonna be dirty and sticky, and I don't know why.
No, I'm gonna start helping to groom Patches. So unless you don't want me to.
It tickles.
The bear is like taking scoopfuls. He's like, well, this is adorable, but where's this pumpkin town?
Well, so I stop grooming for a second and I say, well, now there's one more thing. There's another stop along the way, but it shouldn't take long.
This work has turned into double. This no work situation has turned into double work.
You're gonna get all the pumpkin filling that you want once it's all done. Don't worry, it's all gonna be done before midnight.
You'll pay me tomorrow for a hamburger today, you're saying?
I have a question. Is if he pushes it up right, can't we just kind of roll it?
Oh, sure.
Pumpkins are round.
It's at this point that Brassy Walter makes himself known, and he gives a thumbs up. And he can start rolling.
I solved the puzzle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, friend, it looks like we don't need your help after all.
Could you give me directions?
To the village?
Yeah.
Well, we haven't finished our bargain. I'm afraid we can't do that. Do you want to give us a hand?
Actually,
if you want to like complete the bargain, then you can come with us, and you'll find out where the pumpkin people live.
alternatively, you just have to lose your hat.
Yes.
He does have a broad straw hat on. He says, "Lose my hat."
And then follow it.
Okay. That sounds difficult to do on purpose. So again, I don't want to turn this double work evening into a triple work evening. So I'll walk along with you, but I can't guarantee I'm going to help.
Do you want to trade hats? My hat comes off all the time, and this is how I found those people.
No, I think that I'd look silly.
He's going to start rolling the pumpkin.
Yeah.
And he reaches into the bag as he says that and starts a big mouthful. He's like, and I don't want to look silly. It's like pumpkin goop drips down his face.
As I adjust my powdered wig.
Mm-hmm. So,
Heartbeat.
there's a... Sorry, go ahead.
Nothing.
What did you say? I missed it.
Heartbeat?
Oh, yeah. There's a solemn...
Would it suffice for you to just play that song? Or... I guess it's not really enough of a beat.
I have no ear for music.
All right. So where you want to go is the old graveyard. And our boy, you now got a bear, a pumpkin gut eating bear named Bip Bradley, and Brassy Walter leads on through the old forest hymn to find your way to the spooky graveyard.
Is there not a non-spooky graveyard option?
In the forest hymn, no.
I mean, ghosts don't have to live in a graveyard. We might have friends. Yay! Yay!
Since I can't
just
get
how
the extra
spooky do
life
you
to
want it
work,
to be
thought
is
I'd
kind
try
of
this.
the metric there. So the old graveyard is some ways away, and it's now getting to be quite late. You maybe have only a couple of hours to get back before midnight. And as you approach the old graveyard, there is a shape. You see a ton of different tombstones, all different sizes and shapes sticking out. In the middle is a big mausoleum, and there's a hunched figure that's moving around amongst the graves, looking down, picking things up, putting them into a satchel, and moving from grave to grave.
Ghosts?
Hey!
Hashtag not all ghosts.
That's just rude.
I apologize. I thought maybe ghosts would be better for talking to a graveyard keeper than, say, a goat or a girl with wolf.
Goat sounds like ghost.
That's true. That sounds like something that would give you direct advantage.
The kid's right.
I'm using my ornate hairbrush to brush the goat.
It's like just stuck. You're not.
The hair is just stuck up. Yeah.
The figure turns, and you see them in silhouette, and you see that they're hunched, seemingly a people, but they've got like a long hooked nose. And in the silhouette of the sort of, this has a bunch of free-range fireflies in it, that sort of backlighting this creature a little bit. You see that she reaches up into her nose, and there's a distinct sound, and her eyes start to glow like torches, like flashlights. And she's and then she slowly pulls the crooked finger out and continues to scan. And basically, it's like daylight where she looks.
I hide under a really big leaf.
I've got a candle for a head and I'm thinking it's really weird.
She used a barbecue lighter to light her brain.
How would you like to approach this situation?
It's past my bad time, so I'm getting real like yawny and whiny because I'm a toddler.
Oh, this is Patches talking, not Whitney.
Oh, well, both, but mostly Patches.
Okay, good. Yeah.
So, I'm not. If we're trying to be stealthy, I'm particularly not right now.
Yeah, I'd like to try to float over behind them and just peek over their shoulder to see what they're doing.
Okay. Give me a slink with your agility.
Okay. I do not have slink. I don't have agility either, so this is just straight up and down.
That's an animal thing.
Rolled an 8.
You drift up behind her, and she immediately turns to see you. And what you see looking back is not actually a people face. It's a large chestnut for a head, and she has like an old crone's face carved into it and has somehow stretched a witch nose out, but she has an old chestnut for a head. You know, that old chestnut.
I was trying really hard not to say it.
He says to you in a similarly echoey voice, "Get off my patch, child. This is my ground to hunt upon."
Oh, well,
You can barely see her with the lights shining in your face.
We weren't looking to hunt. We just wanted a beat. Have you got one?
I don't have time to entertain your foolish questions. Is this a job for my skelebanes?
Do they have a beat?
Say yes, say yes.
Will they help us?
That's 2 more questions, and I have just insisted that you not make any more. And she snaps a finger, and one of the graves starts to shake, and this very snappily dressed skeleton pops out. He's got like a 3-piece suit on and a fedora. And then there's like a switchblade appears in his hand.
Similarly, I think Ophelia pops up next to Granny Nana.
Okay. Okay. And then the skeleton says, "Is this ghost bothering you, old chestnut?" And she says, "Yes."
Oh, I didn't mean to bother you. I just wanted to find a beat.
The skeleton says, "Well, move along." and then is going to try and stab at you. And he rolled a 1. So your wispiness presumably kind of like,
What?
this one's real tough, old chestnut.
I do the cartoon thing where you lift, literally lift a part of myself out of the
And there's
way
nothing,
and then drop it back down.
All right, so Ophelia and Nana, Granny, you've got them kind of distracted. What are the other 3 of you doing? And Ophelia, did you have an action you'd like to take?
Not yet.
Okay.
I mean, if an opportunity
Turn
presents
undead.
itself, I'm going to remove some bones,
Okay.
like a dog would.
Is there? What was Chestnut wearing? Is it like a robe or something?
It's just like a shawl. It's like a Baba Yaga kind of getup.
From where I'm standing, that looks real cozy.
Mhm.
So I'm just gonna like kind of walk up and like bump into like her shin, and then kind of start like winding myself in the shawl to try and like get comfy because I'm sleepy.
Old Chestnut looks down and says, What is this? Whose child is this? Get out of my shawl. And you can, as you wrap up, you can feel inside that there's something like moving around underneath, like, or a bunch of very
It's
bunch
5
of very
kobolds
small
in a
somethings.
It's 5 kobolds in a raincoat.
But yeah, you bundle yourself up. She's like got her hands up. The lights are kind of trying, like shooting in all directions. Thorn Lake, what would you like to do?
She's muted.
I just realized that.
Ghosts can just fade out. It's weird.
Yeah. I'm like, wait, what? What am I going to do? I would just like to surround the skeleton. If I can wear the skeleton or make the skeleton wear me, just to sort of freak it out a little bit.
I'm having difficulty wrapping my head exactly around what's going on here, but you're saying you'd like to sort of float above it and just drift down over top?
Yeah. So it looks like it's wearing a ghost dress.
All right. I'm going to get you to roll a resolve against the Skelebones. You can add in your sortilege.
Whoa. 15?
All right. The Skelebones kind of resist. He's like, "Hey, lady, why you doing this? What's
Slosh.
Full of tea.
Yeah. And there's just
It's
like
warm.
and he sort of stumbles around and drags you with him, but yeah. So you can kind of steer him to wherever you want to go. And Old Chestnut's like, "Wait, that's mine. Come back."
Slosh.
You better go chase off. You better chase after him.
"Oh, I could just make another." And she snaps a finger, and another Skelebones, exactly identical, pops up. And basically says the same thing. He's like, "These guys bothering you, old Chestnut?" She's like, "Are you here to collect beetles?"
No.
"And you promise not to collect beetles at any later date?"
We have one thing.
"And it's not
A
beetles."
beat.
"I don't know how I can help you with the heartbeat.
Pulse?
If you need spiders," and she holds open her robes, and she's just all spiders all the time. "If you need spiders,"
Like as soon as that's clear, as soon as it's clear,
and they start crawling out. They start
No,
crawling out everywhere. If
Spiders
that's
all
what
the
you,
way down. Oh,
if that's,
I lift my nightgown and like hard candies fall out. I was like,
it's
same hat,
it's
same hat.
not the same at all, but pretty cool. And she like does the butt stuff again.
If I did that, I would just look like a vein everywhere.
What is the bear doing?
He's
They got
just,
bandit.
it's kind of like popcorn time for him. He's just like eating and I don't know.
I think he would make an excellent loyal subject. So I'm going to work on him, in the sidelines. So
okay.
Brassy is just kind of talking to the pumpkin. Is the queen buried here? What do we need? A heart? Look for.
Just
Is
start
there
reading
someone-
gravestones.
Yeah, is there someone with heart as their name, or?
And with one loud trumpet, he gestures over towards the one mausoleum.
Hmm.
All right.
Thornlake, are you releasing the Skelebones?
Yeah, I'll float up.
He's, as you go up, he's like, blah, 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 blah. What is that? Earl Grey? That's real good. If I had lips or a tongue, I would really enjoy that. You'll have to take a wound for that, I think.
That's all right.
Because a lot of it stays with the Skelebones.
The skeleton is all like beige now.
I was gonna say
he's
stained.
Yeah, he looks like stained teeth kind of thing. Yeah.
Oh no. Well,
But
you
if
know,
you're warm.
and you can tell them apart from the other ones now.
Yep.
So, yeah, you're making Ophelia. You're making your way over to the thing.
Yeah.
It's got a real heavy door on it, but as you look up, you see that there's a name over top, and it says, "1 second. Here lies Beatrice Swamp Willows, Beat Queen of the Forest Hymn."
He just had to do with beats.
Let's see if she's awake. And I knock on the mausoleum door. Hello?
There's no response.
Is anyone inside?
Trick or treat.
There's no response.
I'm gonna hop up. Is the door? Is it locked? Is there a door handle with a lock?
It looks like it's just on a hinge, and it might have not been open in some time.
No.
Can
Can somebody strong open it? Or go ahead.
I'm gonna see about using some of my box of nails and trying to get some nails into the frame to kind of get rid of some of the dust and then crack it open.
All right, I'll let you make a. Is chicanery? That's like your brute strength too.
I don't know.
No.
That's the lock picking. Chicanery is basically criminal activity.
Right. Okay.
/ dexterity, which I'm good at.
I mean,
I guess
daggers.
Chicanery does have criminality and bullying in it. That does sound kind of.
I think it's still a brute. You're using your strength. Will do daggers.
Oh, daggers.
15.
Good.
I'll let you use your. I'll let you do another gift since you put the nails in there to kind of try and wedge it open.
Still 15.
Even with another D6 added to it.
You don't. I thought you just take the best of.
Oh, that's right. Yes, that's right.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah, he already had a gift. Yeah.
I have been rolling a lot of dice over here, so I'm not sure. Yeah, that's just enough to creak it open so that, the bigger amongst you can squeeze in. You can hear on the other side of this small graveyard the bear Bip say to Brassy, and he's like, "They really going in there? Huh?" And he just scoops another. Him and Brassy are kind of having this weird one-sided conversation.
Do you want me to narrate for you?
No, just get a full report when you come out. If you come out. No, it's fine. That's probably fine.
As far as I know, all ghosts are friends, so...
Yep.
All right.
2 out of 2 ghosts here are friends, so that's 100% of ghosts.
So you squeeze into this pitch black tomb.
I shake up my fireflies to light the mausoleum.
And those of you what's got feet feel soft things crush underneath.
Oh, sorry.
No.
And I'm kind of trailing behind him, and I still have chestnut spiders crawling on me a little bit. And
Ophelia, you lift your foot up to see what it is, and it's covered in red.
Oh, beets.
Sure. It doesn't.
She must love beets.
That makes a lot of sense. They said
Beets.
beets.
I just got it.
They
Ponyo
said
doesn't get it. Ponyo's like, I don't get it.
You need
Just
the
keep going down.
heartbeat. It's dead.
That's what I
I guess you were either some of you are candles and light, so I guess there is light happening in here.
Mhm,
So
mhm.
as you find your way through and you realize what you've been stepping on, beets grow in bushes. What's it- how's it-
Underground.
No, they're underground. They're like
Kind of
not a full tuber, but they're the root aspect,
Oh,
right?
right.
Because the green leaves are the above
Well,
ground.
this is a magical cartoon world, so I'm going to
Yes.
say that this is the tomb is dark enough that all the beets think that they're in deep underground since they have not seen the light in many a day, and so they are growing somehow, bound together. You can see strings and strings of beets just growing all over the walls and everything in here, and inside the middle, there's a few other like names, dusty placards that say like Ernest Womp Willows and Janice Womp Willows and presumably the other Womp Willow families. But then in the middle is one big tomb, sarcophagi.
I go over and knock. Hello? Anyone home?
As you look, you see there is faded over time, but a silhouette of a person, a woman, sort of shaped into the top of the lid, and right where her heart would be is the shape of a beet.
Excuse me. I'm sorry. May we have this?
There's no answer.
Would you like to become part of a Pumpqueen?
Ooh, yes. Would you like to become royalty? A very good deal for.
There seems to be no reply.
Is there a
Alright.
beat? Is there a beat in the heart thing?
No,
The
it's
heart?
just like it's a sculpture. It's just sculpted into the top of the lid.
Can I? We're good.
I guess no one's home. Should we just open it?
Yes. Let's try, shall we? And I'm gonna take good horse Charles. I'm gonna wedge him in and try and.
Okay.
Oh,
Give me a strength roll.
Oh, Ophelia, can you help? Can you help?
Mm-hmm.
Good horse Charles, this, please, Charlie.
All right, and you can add two gifts, one for the horse and one for Ophelia.
Okay.
Or Ophelia, you're rolling as well.
I mean,
I'll let. I'm encouraging good horse
Okay,
Charlie to
so
help Ophelia out.
Ophelia, you roll your strength, and you can add one gift
Yes.
for the help of the horse.
I got a 19 then.
Sure. It flips off without much of an issue. You're unceremoniously pushed down on good horse Charlie, and the lid slides off and slams to the ground, and you do see a skull of bones in a repose, a simple repose. Any clothing she may have been wearing long rotted away, but you can see pulsing, thump 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 thump, just inside of a rib cage, a beating red beat.
There it is.
I'm going to, excuse me, if you do not say that you would not like us to take it, I'm going to assume it's okay. Thank you. If they don't, they haven't said anything till now, so if they don't say anything.
Nope.
Beat. Got the beat.
I think this is it. I think we did it.
I'm fascinated by the grave and the whole notion of burying bones in the ground. I'm just interested.
We bury
in that.
bones in the ground all the time, and then we dig them back up. So we can chew on them. Get that good dirt flavor.
But do they all become ghosts? What happens to them when they?
Someone
is
chewing
this
my
the
bones?
end? Like, do you have bones somewhere?
Wow, is Prince Ponyo having a crisis of some kind?
Well, yes,
I'm in the corner
I
of a
just wonder
crisis
where
now.
do we all end up? You know?
I liked a cake that you said, "Is someone chewing on my bones?"
Yeah.
Did. Who's nabbing the heartbeat?
I guess if they did not tell me to cease and desist, I took it.
This person is dead, Granny Nana. I don't know what you're
I
expecting
mean,
to
I'm
say.
dead and I can still tell people not to do things I don't like.
That's a fair point. But they have not responded to any of your pleas.
Okay, I think that if they did not want us to take it, they would have said so by now, so I think it is safe to do so.
Affiliate will put the lid back on.
That's good.
Yes.
Try and get out of that one.
All right, so you go and grab it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You pull it, and it sort of pops off of the weird little radish vine, no, not radish, beet vine that it's on. And then immediately before your eyes, another beet just kind of grows in its place.
Oh, perfect.
Well, this happens every year. Okay, that's good. I was worried about that. Ecology.
All right. The pieces are collected,
We're done.
and you need to make it back in order to finalize the summoning of the Pumpqueen.
Oh, is it almost midnight? Do we need to hurry?
You've got about an hour to get back.
Lead the march, Brassy Walter.
Yeah. Brassy Walter makes quite a scene, which scares off anything that might come close. They think you're some kind of monster in the woods, and you find yourself stumbling back into Calabash Hollow, much as you did at the very beginning of our adventure. Except this time, the mayor has turned his pumpkin head upside down and is walking back and forth with a very worried look on his face.
Oh, yes, because we've got a giant bear.
Where are they? Where are they? And he's shaking everybody. We need the parts. We need her parts. And just as he looks like he's going to give in to despair, he turns and he sees the five of you covered in pumpkin goop, followed by a large pumpkin being rolled by Brassy Walter and a bear who is just covered head to toe in pumpkin guts.
No, we're all splattered with beet juice too, so we all look like we've been like
yeah, you just look like you've been in the weirdest fight.
Yeah.
And he says, "You're here. You didn't let me down. That's good. Do you have the bits? Do you have all of her things?
Ta-da!
Weapon. Head. Heartbeat. Good. Good. The ceremony can begin."
Spiders. Aha!
Yes, we also have some bonus prizes.
Spiders. It's fine. It's fine. I'm not scared. Really scared.
We also brought you a new friend. Here is the Gut Bandit.
Hi.
He loves to eat pumpkin guts.
I hear you're in need of a disposal. Someone who could dispose of your pumpkin guts. I've already been offered the job and accepted it, so.
Whoops.
Where can I start, Chief? He's like, oh. At this point, he's like, take this head off and put it back into the smile, so the smile is the right side up. You start in the morning, I guess.
Yeah, and I hop up onto the bear, into his face, and I'm like, do not crush any pumpkin heads.
Yeah.
They're people.
I poop a little bit.
But this is like an angry poop. Yeah, a threatening poop. All right. We have to assemble. We have to get going. We have to get started. The most important job, which falls on you, the heroes of Calabash Hollow, is to decide the demeanor of our queen.
Oh.
I would like
Fluffy.
you, as you have seen, as you've experienced your time here in Calabash Hollow, you see we are kind of restrained by the faces that are carved upon the pumpkins that are our heads.
Mm-hmm.
So, and he starts handing out sharp little knives. Get to work. I would like all of you to go to roll 20.
Oh no.
We're actually gonna draw this face.
You'll see.
Animals are such bad artists.
Is everyone at roll 20?
Mm-hmm.
And have you got it up on screen there, Granny Nana?
Done.
All right. So, decide the demeanor of our queen. All
This
right.
is perfect.
You're gonna get 2 loops of some goofy music to decide on it.
Okay.
I'm gonna
His
start that music.
eyebrows.
I'm gonna start that
Oh.
music
What are we
post
supposed
haste.
to do?
You just gotta make a face. And whatever the face is how she is for the rest of the year.
We want
I
to be
want-
happy, right?
I want
Up to you.
one.
All right, 1, 2, 3.
Okay, maybe only one of us should move the things around. I don't know.
We're all doing it. We're all going.
She needs a nose. Someone grab a nose. We need a nose.
All right, you,
Nose. Yes, the nose
That's
is
strong.
Good, good,
She's
good.
starting to look like
We
a
need a good
cat, and I
smile. We need
really
a smile.
like
We need
it.
a smile. Who can make her smile?
this song is 3.5 minutes long, so you
Can
can get
anyone
one.
make her? Yes, that's a little smile. Maybe a bigger smile. Maybe more.
I do love the Nike eyebrows.
Maybe a better. Maybe have the same. Yes, that's a better smile. I think I like that smile. And I'm directing with my cane. Yes, perfect. Oh, it's a little toothy though. It's a little toothy. Little high.
She has more eyebrows than eyes. It's fine. That's
I
interesting.
wanted one to be like winking.
And maybe match her eyes.
A wink
Oh,
eye.
that's an angry smile.
Oh my! Look at that snarl.
That's not a good smile. Let's find something else. Can we turn this
You
upside
still
down?
have 2.5 minutes on the clock, so if you do
I
want
do
to
like
just...
the ears, though.
Yeah, we're
This
not.
Yes, it's a bit of a bit. Yes, I like that. And we have
This
to
is
have
our
the star.
leader. You
And we
know,
have to
this
have the
will
Starfleet
be...
symbol has to be in there somewhere.
Yeah.
This is the face that will lead us for
And she's
the whole
winking.
year.
She's winking. She's a little naughty. It's good.
She's got a butt chin.
I like.
The mayor is looking at you very,
No, the
very
nose is good. I
concerned.
like the nose. Maybe a
What
different.
What about
You still have 2 minutes.
what about
No,
that?
2 minutes.
nose. No. Oh.
You don't have to settle.
I'm smacking people with the cane. No, wrong nose. I hate that nose.
I can't get that one out.
The face is being
Honestly?
destroyed. Yes, I like that smile. That's a nice smile. That's
I'm
good. I
trying to
like
get
it. I
that
like
out.
This is the best use of Roll20 I've ever seen.
Perfect. Perfect.
Got
Yes. I think we just have to. The Starfleet symbol might not be in the right place. Maybe like a. No, the nose was good. Oh, that's pretty good too.
We could have an Eiffel Tower nose.
Oh, see, I like that. That's nice. Maybe a couple of ears. Can you rotate
she
these
has
things?
I was gonna say, can we
It is.
spin?
Oh, those are the ears. Yes,
We
I thought they
should-
were horns. Okay.
We should be able
I
to.
can-
Yes, I like that. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ooh.
She looks slightly evil, but that's okay.
Oh, there we go. That's a good eyebrow.
Yes.
That's the eyebrow.
You've got 1 minute left, so
Yes, my subjects, you are doing well.
What happens
I like
if
that.
we?
I like that ear. It's like, oh, nice.
What happens if Zerlex?
I think that's pretty great.
What about?
Like a handle
You've
on
got-
top.
you do have an eyebrow with or an eye that has kind of eyelashes on it. I don't know if you want.
Oh,
Do we not see? Oh, there's more stuff down below.
okay.
Kinda. I mean, these are mostly eyebrows.
I think she looks pretty great. Do you want to put
Yeah, I
like
think
little
this is
things
good.
under her? Yeah.
What's
Is that
this
little thing-
piece? What's happening here?
I don't know what that
That
piece
could probably
is.
go away.
Okay.
I think this is a good face.
Why does
That
she have
is
ears
perfect.
and handles?
10
the tiara!
seconds left.
Oh my god, yes!
Lock it in.
Are
That's
we,
great,
are
that's
we,
great.
Are we keeping
Yeah,
the top bit, or are we?
I like that.
I think that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
That's it. Time's up. This is our new queen.
Yay!
Yay!
We did it.
The mayor.
So sassy.
The mayor is stroking his chin and he's looking at it and he says, "Why do we let other people do this?"
Look, it's midnight. We've been running around. We're very tired.
We're covered in beet juice.
We just lost our hats, and that means we get to create a queen.
How else do you choose your royalty? Clearly.
It's true. It is a Calabash hollow system.
Yes. The most recent hat losers decide the royal lineage.
There are only 3 things left to do, and that is put the pieces together. Present the head. The mayor. So of course all the pumpkin folk have all gathered around. The mayor and brassy Johnny. What's his name? It's escaping now.
Brassy Walter.
Brassy Walter, of course. They both like take her head and skewer it on the top of this sort of floating dress, and then we have to. No, you can go back. You can go back to the people's faces. I don't know if I can look at that much longer.
What? You can't. You don't appreciate our amazing queen.
There's so much majesty there.
Yeah,
It's true.
No queen that has come before or that will go after will ever be the same.
It's true. And she's got cat ears and people ears, so that's ain't something.
Mm-hmm.
So next up, we have to present her weapon to her. Whoever presents the weapon is her squire for the year. Sorry, whoever presents the weapon is her squire for the year.
Do we want to maybe? I think maybe gut bandit would be a good squire for her, or does one of us want this job?
I just grab the sword and I'm like, it's a sword. Over backwards.
And you stumble towards her with it.
Excellent training for the kid.
Yeah. As you get close, Patches, you see now that she has her head, she lifts up a very delicate twig limb and reaches down to grab the sword. And even though her arm looks not strong enough, she lifts it up and she very gently puts it on one shoulder and then on the other. And then as she lifts it, you tip and fall over. But you feel a warmth in your heart, like something has bonded you to her.
Suddenly her face just seems maternal.
Mm-hmm, exactly. And also still very cat-like. So the last thing is, who will present their heart? The heart.
Can I present it?
I think that
I'd
sounds
like to present
nice.
it.
Royalty. Presenting to royalty. That makes sense.
So who has the heart?
I think I had it, and I'll hand off the gooey.
I'll get the heart, yes. And then I'll advance towards the queen and I'll say, I'm only a prince. From where I come, many are princes, but only one gets to be the king, and that was not me. But here you go, my queen. And I present to her the heart.
She reaches down with her, and I don't want this to seem filthy, so don't make it filthy, but she reaches down and she grabs the hem of the dress and she lifts it up, and you can see that underneath is, instead of legs, is just the wooden kind of structure to hold the dress, and it's floating above the ground. And she gestures to come in and put the heart in its place.
Well, I'm an old rabbit, but the years will fall away, and I will leap prodigiously up and into the spot where the heart has to go and place it.
And right where it should land, it does, and it floats in her chest. And you pop out, and you see the flame light in the Pumpqueen's head. And her eyes light up, and her ears glow, both sets, and her strange nose gives off a weird light. And her grin, broader even than the mayor's, shines down on all of you, and she says, "Thank you, my loyal subjects. I feel like we're going to have a good year."
Yay!
So I'll turn and I'll say, 3 cheers for Queen Pumpqueen! Huzzah! Huzzah! Huzzah!
Can we do that high five that everyone does at the end of a cheesy movie?
That's right, yeah.
And freeze frame.
And immediately some fun music starts and the band starts to play. And
Moonshine for all.
and Brassy Walter joins in, and you spend the rest of the evening and all the way into the morning dancing with the Pumpqueen and her goofy face. Is the mouth on top? Is the mouth on top supposed to be a crown of some kind?
It's a tiara!
Okay, it's perfect. It's perfect. You
Hang
guys
on.
did great.
I'm going back to show everyone that you are insulting the majesty of our amazing Pumpqueen.
Pumpqueen.
I drew all of these pieces, so it's my fault it looks this way. So
You're welcome.
Majesty.
Majesty.
Yeah. All right. And so midnight strikes in the forest hymn, and you all party the night away with a bunch of pumpkin-headed weirdos. And our camera pans up, and a wolf howls in the distance, and that's our game.
Yay! We did it.
You summoned the Pumpqueen. Congratulations.
That was a ton of fun. Thank you so much for running that.
Yeah.
So we should do the game again next week, but using Call of Cthulhu rules.
Yeah.
It's all just horrifying madness and death.
True nightmare, yeah.
Exactly the same adventure.
No, it's so cute.
So cute. We're just filled with bees next time, Jess.
Yes, we're definitely going as evil ghosts next time. Not the
Evil
super.
bunny rabbit,
Evil
evil
ghost.
person, evil goat.
Evil
I
goat.
like-
Did
I
you
like
say
my two
goat?
ghost moms.
Goat.
Ghost moms.
Perfect. Well,
Who's
thank
going to
you.
tell the Pumpqueen that she has a 3-year-old squire?
A 3-year-old goat is pretty ready to mature. Let's just say.
Well,
That's
I'm
Yeah,
gonna
some
stay.
kind of- some kind of inner ear problem, balance issue.
Well, I'm gonna stay and
Chronic.
be the goat's handler or whatever you want to call it.
Sure.
Mhm.
A friend.
Perfect.
That was so cool.
Thank you all so much. Let's go around and say hi to everyone and tell everyone where they can find you. Thank you all so much for playing. We'll go backwards order from how we started. So Jordan, you're first.
I'm Jordan. I was the narrator, and I put this little story together. I'm glad that it seems like everyone had a really good time. It was a lot of fun coming up with this idea. I wrote it on a train, wrote the basic ideas, and the first thing I wrote down was heartbeat, with the beat spelled B-E-T, and it just seemed like that was how this story should start, was with that pun. You can find me on the internet, usually on Twitter, at Made of Cartoons, also on Instagram, sometimes I make cartoons. And you see me hanging around here every once in a while, either in the chat or running little stories here and there. Actually, I'll be playing in a game I'm playing in one of these games next Friday at around the same time. It's Heart, run by Jason, and it's going to be really fun. I get to play a man who is also a train, which is kind of my dream come to life. And I'm not even joking. Thank you all for playing. Are we doing our favorite moments?
It's up to you. You're the GM. Do it. You're the narrator.
Yeah, I think everyone should say their favorite moments because I do like that. I liked you all freaking out over the pumpkin carving. And you were like, we need to get it done in 10 seconds, and the song is 3 minutes long. And then the mayor being like, is that really your final answer? Yeah, so, yeah, you guys were funny.
Awesome. That's great. Next is Ethan.
Hello, I'm Ethan. You can find me at Super Robot Bear on the Twitter. I do game designy stuff and talk about video games sometimes, and sometimes I'm here playing Destiny. Yeah, if you like wholesome stuff, I'm working on some wholesome stuff, including Gobs of Gobs, which is about adventure and friendship and being a goblin. So,
Gobs of
Count me in for
Gobs.
that one.
Gobs of Gobs.
That sounds adorable.
Favorite moment. I love the ghosts.
Yeah.
You were both like, I don't know. I just like, there was the whole part where like Granny Nana was, like consoling after, just someone just got winged in the head with an apple, and they're just like, oh, I'm so sorry.
No.
I love T-Ghost.
Just slush.
Slush.
Yeah, sort of
Love
like
ghosts.
smothering the skelebanes.
That was a lot
inspired.
of hostility.
Great.
Hostility management.
Although it should have healed him, so maybe he should have come out with a head, like a skin still back
But
on
is
his face.
it like reverse for ghosts though? Like
Well,
I mean, sorry,
Yeah,
skeletons.
Skeletons.
I don't know where
words.
skeletons fall in the old people, animal, folk, ghost trichotomy. But I'll look into it.
Awesome. Speaking of ghosts, next is Cake.
Me. I am Leslie and or Cake. I am at I Lived in a Cake on Twitter, Instagram, other places you can find me. I do things on the internet. I consume games more than make games, and I like collecting dice. One of my favorite moments was probably the bear puns, and all the other puns, and then the puns that came with those puns. Yeah, I love puns.
That's awesome. I'm glad because sometimes people get mad about puns.
Puns are the
It
best in the
gets
world.
pun controllable.
Yeah, it's some people find it too punishing.
This game is made of puns.
It is.
Well,
It's
they're
a heat of
puns.
1,000 puns.
Yeah, it was puns of fun. I'm so sorry.
I take it back.
Let's move on to Richard. I'm so sorry. Woo, woo, woo. Look over there. I didn't do anything.
Sorry, am I next? Sorry.
Yes, it's your turn.
Okay, sorry. I was still suffering from all the puns. Well, my name is Richard Dufault. You can find me on the on Instagram and Twitter and stuff as OShutterPhoto. I do photography, mostly cosplay photography, but I do weddings and other events as well. And yeah, so that's pretty much it. Favorite moment? Yeah, I think it's the visual image of the rabbit facing down the bear and not getting killed. So, or not running away, which is, you know.
I like that you specifically.
I decided I was never going to fight. Like in this entire adventure, I was never going to do any kind of fighting. So
I like the image of you kind of stretching out onto your toes. You're as tall as you can get.
that's
And
right.
then him like accordioning you back down, like just staring you down nose to nose.
Yeah. So
Yeah, that was good.
So full disclosure, Ponyo is a rabbit who passed away in April, and so yeah. So this is pretty much, you know, giving him another life. So yeah.
Well, I'm glad we gave you that chance there, Richard. Thanks for playing with us.
That's so
And
cute.
so yeah, and so we have a new bunny now, and she's pretty awesome. And so
Awesome. That's so cute. I'm glad we got to have Ponyo in our game because they were great.
oh, and I want to mention the painting of Ponyo, which I'll post somewhere that you guys saw, was done by my daughter Catherine.
Wow.
He was done as sort of a Miyazaki type character. So
Yeah.
well, he was
really
named
cute.
after a fish
Ponyo.
character, a character who was a fish. So yeah.
Adorable.
Yeah.
Amazing.
That's me.
And Whitney.
Drive-by sub.
Hi, I'm Whitney. I'm on Twitter a lot at WhitneyLNB. Also Instagram. I consume a lot of games, but I actually work in documentary, and I'm currently trying to figure out a way to smush those things together.
Ooh.
But right now I just stream of consciousness a lot I Twitter vomit a lot. I think my favorite moment was actually the ghost piloting the skeleton. I thought.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Like mecha Tigo skeleton.
Yeah, they were drift compatible.
They were steering this
Uh,
game. Thank you.
Tearing, yes.
She has no matcha.
That's
Took a second. It didn't land immediately, but it was there.
Wow.
that pun was piping hot.
Oh, amazing.
I love it.
It's so
I love
good.
it.
Thank you all so much. I have to agree that I think some of my favorite stuff was like the puns. I loved Patches just being a little kid and like
and
falling
fighting.
over all the time was so great. It made me so happy. And
I like when everyone was having a crisis about where ghosts sleep and all this kind of stuff. And you're like, I have a
My
bedroom.
bones.
yeah, the goat was like, I have a bedroom.
Yeah, that was really funny.
Or I need to pee.
Yeah.
yeah.
oh my
I know what shapes are.
It was so good. And Jordan's many voices, even when they kind of
Yes.
traveled around, even when we couldn't keep the crows straight, it was.
Yeah. Well, they were triplet crows with similar sounding names. I mean, I made that fault myself, so.
It was amazing. It
I
was
made
so
that
good.
fault myself. It's time for bed.
Yes, it's time for bed, so we'll let you all go. But just one last big thank you so much to everyone who's already donated or already like a good way into our goal. So thank you all so much, and do come hang out again. We've got 6 more games happening. We got 2 tomorrow. We've got Call of Cthulhu and Ryutama for some cuteness and some spooky times. And then we have on Sunday Adventure Skeletons, which is by Grant Howitt, who did Honey Heist. So it's one of those like really cutesy little one-page RPGs. So it's gonna be lots of good fun.
He also did Heart, which is the one I'm playing.
That's true. Yeah.
Which is the opposite of cute.
Which is the opposite, yeah. That's so it's gonna be.
Is the Heart Kickstarter still happening, or is it over?
It ended a week or so ago.
Yeah.
But they'll be, I think, doing their late buy-in soon.
Yeah. So yeah, I just want to thank you all so much for playing and everyone for coming out. This was a ton of fun, and hopefully we'll see you all later. Have a good night. Bye.
Thanks for watching. Thanks for playing, everybody.